blah blah
Blah, blah, blah.
blah 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 blah
Blah, blah,
blah
blah.
blah blah
Blah, blah.
blah.
Blah?
Oh, I think we're live now.
Oh, blah.
Hey,
Hello. We were just checking our level meters.
and recording some new videos, and I had to make sure that everything was working. Uh, Clip it. Yeah, there you go.
Hello, everybody.
It's
Uh,
a weird code word. Yeah.
I think Jasmine has to cook now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second week of Wave Next live streams. Hope you didn't miss us too much over the weekend. We're back again. Um,
Now what? Wait,
we're
now the
like 30 seconds in, and Phil's already got the reminder to not speak into the mic from his neck.
I'm literally speaking into the mic.
Well, now you are.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, today's stream, you may have seen Wave Heritage before as like an original topic we're going to do today, but we've decided to mix it up. And instead, today, speaking of mix it up, mixing your audio, it wasn't super smooth, but it kind of works.
We're all on the same wavelength here, okay? It's Monday.
So anyways, we're originally going to do Wave Heritage like discussions today, talking about where Wave started, where it's going. But instead, today, just for total clarity, we're talking about we're basically doing an intro to Wavelink 3.0. So if you're new to Wavelink 3.0, you just installed it, or you're going to install it after this stream, like I saw somebody mention earlier, this is where you're going to learn all things Wavelink 3.0. Yep. The start of the stream is also going to be a little bit different. You want to tell them about that?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do here, chat, we're going to work together on this, right? So obviously Wavelink 3.0, there's lots of changes and it looks different than Wavelink 2.0. And so what we're going to do is, and this was kind of an inspiration from, I've seen other creators do this, but it's basically, we're going to turn off all the overlays. We're going to record a live YouTube video. So I'm going to say, all right, hey, hey, welcome to this video where we're going to talk about Wavelink 3.0 and, go through it. And then for like 10 minutes or something like that, I'm just going to go through all of the, also I'll get to that, why I am, in pain. But we'll go through all of the different like Wavelink settings, like mixes and channels and audio effects and all of that. And then that's actually going to be uploaded to YouTube. So chat, what I'm going to need your help with is be really quiet during that time. So that way that, we don't hear anything in the audio.
Well, you don't have to be quiet in chat, but be quiet in volume.
Yeah.
You can be very active in chat.
You can, but basically for a little bit of time, I'm just not going to really answer any questions or look at chat. I'm just going to go through the spiel. Because again, we're going to cut that out. That's going to become a YouTube video, and then we're going to put that on YouTube.
Yeah, we're going to try it. Let's see how it goes. And
or
then this
maybe
information
not.
will also immediately be useful for you.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, once he's done, I'll be queuing up the questions on the side here. Once he's done filming that, then we go to the questions. Then maybe we'll watch a creator video, maybe some more demoing, and then more questions, and then another creator video, and then more questions, and then giveaway, and then da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So don't make Phil laugh while recording.
I'm probably not going to laugh today because I don't know what it was, but I basically woke up, opened my eyes, turned my neck a little bit, and I just heard, I literally heard some sort of like a crunch sound. And ever since then, I've had like a tweaked neck. So I think I must have hit a nerve or something. That's why every now and then, if you see me talking and I do like a weird motion, it's because I'm actually in pain right now. It's getting better, but this morning I was walking more like this. I'm like, hey, everyone, how's it going? It's Phil here, just because it hurts. So it's getting better, but yeah, it's still, some of you out there may know this feeling. So I thought I slept good. I thought everything was okay, but I was just so excited about this live stream today that, I just tensed up a little bit and then there it is. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't get in the way too much though. Welcome to getting old. It happens a lot. Listen, I don't want to think like that yet. I'm just gonna ignore all of that. This was me just sleeping wrong. This has nothing to do with age.
Did you try updating your software?
Oh, was this fixed in the 3.0.1 patch? The human update 2.0 or 2.1? Yeah, no. So yeah, if I do some strange movements or I go ow, that might be why.
Okay.
And also if I'm gonna look over a burrito, it's gonna be really slowly.
Just don't do it. It's
because
okay. You're good.
If I do it too fast, it's gonna hurt. But I hope you all had a lovely weekend. I
I know a lot of
know,
you installed Wavelink 3.0 over the weekend, so hope
yes.
you're enjoying that. And then if you have anything, any issues or any comments, you can share that not only through our help team, but there should also be possibly a Reddit thread coming or already
Yes,
out.
something like
Yeah,
that.
hmm
But basically, a lot of you installed Wavelink 3.0, and
a
it's
lot.
free, right?
Yeah.
In fact, all of you in chat who are here on Friday, you know you're all winners. You all got to install it for free. Listen, the reality is there's a lot of setups out there. There's a lot of different hardware. There's a lot of software configurations, a lot of microphones, right? There's just a lot of stuff out there. And while
Yep.
we try to cover the basis with everything, there's just things that slip through the cracks. So if you have issues with Wavelink 3.0, which I'm sure some of you do, uh, please, please, please go and contact our support team at elgato.com/help. That's the best thing you can do because either they already have a solution for you, or they can collect log files and other information from you that then goes to our dev team, and they can, use that information to come up with a solution for it sooner rather than later.
Yep.
If you post on places like social, as in Reddit, Twitter, Discord, etc., it'll still make it to the team, but obviously, depending on how much you put in there, there's no log files, this and that. And like basically, again, the best place is actually to go to our help page and just, submit a ticket there, tell them, hey, this is what's going on. We're of course seeing all your feedback, we're collecting it, but that's really the best way. Like that's the honest truth right there. Just contact our support team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, I did see somebody have a question about the delivery date. I think you can also contact the support team for that. But if you check your email, you should be receiving live updates as they come in for the progress of your order. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, later today, we'll be giving away voice focus codes again, I believe. Jasmine can
Ooh,
correct me
more
if I'm
more
wrong.
voice
So
focus.
make sure to stay tuned. That giveaway will only be on our Twitch. So if you want to enter the giveaway, make sure to head on over to Twitch chat and plan to enter there. Also, I'd like to start a little poll in
Oh,
chat. A
okay.
little
All right.
poll because it's going to relate to what we're talking about today. I'd like to know a little bit more about how you guys are either using or planning to use Wavelink 3.0. So to do that, should have a poll ready here. I would like to know more about how are you using or planning to use Wavelink 3.0. So are you using it or planning to use it for live streaming, podcasting, gaming, productivity, or something else?
That we don't have
Um,
on the
you
list.
can just either type the word or the number to vote, and you can also vote for multiple. So just make sure they're different chat messages. So if you're doing like live streaming and you're also, using it for like meetings, productivity, you can do 1, enter, and then do 4, enter. So wow, look at the votes coming in. It's always so fun. Whee!
I kind of have an idea, but maybe there's also a surprise in there. Just like the
Yeah.
surprise about, I think, yes, like Friday, what
Was that a
topic we should talk
surprise
about
though?
Monday?
Was that a
No, I
surprise?
don't think
Obviously, they
so.
want to learn more about
Yeah.
Wavelink 3.0 because it's available for everyone.
Dang, look at gaming and live streaming. Okay, that being like 50-50 is actually that's a surprise. I thought it was going to be like a clear live streaming winner, but I mean, that's the cool thing about Wavelink 3.0. It's just at this point a really powerful audio mixer and also audio processor. So it kind of works for everything,
Yep.
right? Like you don't have to use it for live streaming. And we're
Those
going
of
to
you who are
show
saying
all of that.
other, I want to know. I want to know what the other is.
Yeah. Let's see. We got
Tell us more.
29 votes. All right. Gaming and live streaming going head to head here. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Wavelink 3.0 whole competition. We've got live streaming, we've got gaming. Gaming had a rough week, but live streaming had earlier in the month not looking so hot, but really turned it around here.
Yeah.
Gaming also, we're looking for big plays from gaming.
Live streaming really favored as we enter this season, but seeming to be tied here with gaming. That's a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's talk to gaming. So gaming, what do you what do you think? It's good. It's good. No, okay.
Podcasting in the corner, like I'm still here. I
Yeah.
promise.
But well, they're just off having a podcast in the corner. They're
Yeah,
like,
they're a
well,
little
they're
distracted.
they're actually like, yeah, that's right, that's right, yeah,
Mhm.
that's right, yeah. Uh,
All
no, that's
right.
cool.
Well,
Wow. Okay.
the votes are in basically a tie between live streaming and gaming. Live
Super
streaming
cool.
seems to have a little bit of an edge, and it just they keep tying it. So good job, chat, I guess. Productivity and other. If you guys are using it for something else, let us know in the chat. We'd like to know how you're planning on using Wavelength 3.0 in your setup. That will help us decide what we can talk about today, but also we can share this information to our team so they can know how you're using it.
It could also be something as simple as all you're doing is, like, switching the output from, like, speakers to headphones quickly. I
Yeah,
mean, Wavelink makes that incredibly easy with the plugin. So again, it's just kind of overall just easy and, makes your audio control better. Um,
that's a good quote right there.
yeah, I
So
don't know.
easy and makes your audio control better. Put that on the website.
And oh, okay, so here's another question. I don't think we have a poll for this one, but how
I
many of
can
you
set one up.
guys, or can we do a quick
Yeah.
Windows and Mac one? So don't say it yet. Don't say it yet. Uh, did you guys know that on macOS, so Wavelink is also on macOS, of course, and it's now basically your operating system mixer, right? On Windows, you already kind of have that mixer view where you can change some stuff. It's a little bit buried, but it's there. On macOS, you didn't have anything like that. And on macOS, you can now install Wavelink 3.0. Not only does it look really, really great, it's using liquid glass and it just looks awesome. It has that little like see-through-ish color. It also supports shortcuts, so you can actually set up a shortcut and then you can trigger that with something like Siri if you want to. And like I said, the biggest thing, basically becomes the audio mixer for your entire OS at that point. Um, do we have that
Yep, the
poll?
poll is ready. So
All
let
right,
us
let's try
know.
that one.
Windows or Mac? What system are you using Wavelength 3.0 on?
And yeah, no lying.
You can also put both. I mean, I'm on Windows and Mac, so I can vote for both.
hmm
Yep.
I'm gonna assume Windows wins here
Oh,
just because
whoa,
I know a
whoa,
lot of you
whoa.
guys are on Windows. Uh,
Brr. Windows goes brr.
yeah. But no, I think this is something that's really cool is that actually we do support both Windows and Mac, and they even are taking advantage of their platform specific features. Again, you know, Siri shortcuts, that's a Mac thing, and we want to feel like a first class citizen on Mac. So the team has been spending a lot of time on that. Again, we support liquid glass, which is really cool on Mac, so it just looks great. And then of course on Windows, using like WinUI 3, using all the native stuff. You also notice we're using the modern Windows installer. There's auto updates now, which is really cool, right? So our team is spending a lot more time thinking about how we can uh, make each platform feel like we're actually using those features, and not just feel, but actually do use
Yeah.
the features that the platforms offer. Um, so yeah, Windows, no surprise
Yeah.
there. I think that's what is that, 85, almost 90%, something like that. So yeah, of course, I mean, I kind of brought it on myself, but there's the age-old Linux question. We do not currently have any plans to support Linux. There's a couple, and I'm sure for those of you who are, using Linux right now, it's the same old story. It's a matter of resources and it's a matter of, where are the folks at, right? We are you can believe it or not, but we're a small team. In fact, our dev team for Wavelink is not that many people. And so we, of course, again, like I said earlier, want to be first class citizens on Windows and Mac. That already takes a lot of effort. Adding another platform on top of that, one which is very, very split between all these different distros and, driver support and this and that and the other thing. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just simply not something that we currently have the resources for, plain and simple. Um, so that's the answer there. We do not plan on Linux support at the moment.
Yep.
Okay.
Shall we?
Well, actually, should we go over the stream schedule
Yeah, let's go over it
real quick?
real quick to go over this week specifically. So this is what the rest of our streams look like for our Wave Next, these awesome 2 weeks of streams. So obviously, our amazing Spanish team went live this morning. I tuned in. I saw some of you guys there. So hello again if you're here joining our stream as well. Or hola, I guess I should say. Today we're going over Wavelength 3.0. So setup guide from, zero to having your audio routed. We're recording that little video, then we're answering your questions after that. Tomorrow we're going live in French. So any of the fellow French speakers in chat can join us tomorrow. And that's going over everything Wave Next. Then we're speaking with Lewitt. We have two awesome guests from Lewitt joining us tomorrow to talk about, how they worked on Wave throughout the years, going all the way back to, I think, like 2018.
I
All
think we have
the
a third
story.
special guest
And
joining as well
yeah,
spontaneously.
and then we might also have another guest from Elgato, which is awesome. And then on Wednesday, we'll be chatting with Voice Mod, some really exciting stuff to look forward to there. So we hope to see you there to learn more about some cool stuff that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Cool stuff that I think if you're on Wavelength 3.0, you're going to love. Then on Thursday, we've got our German
Dann
stream.
geht's los in Deutsch.
what he said. And then we have our Portuguese stream. And then we'll be talking, we'll have our English stream at 10 a.m. PDT talking about Stream Deck Plus, XL, and just general like audio control. So that's kind of going to wrap up our English streams. So I'm sure we'll also hit any points that we feel like are missing at that point that we want to dive into a little bit more. But yeah, if you want to learn more about how to control Wavelink 3.0 with the new Wavelink 3.0 plugin, some additional just fun things that you can do with Stream Deck Plus XL that will be super useful in your setup, as well as just generally Stream Deck stuff, because obviously what we show on XL could be done on any Stream Deck, minus the dials. We would need a Plus for that. But yeah, we'll be talking about that on Thursday. So if you love Stream Deck or you are interested in getting into the Stream Deck ecosystem, we'll see you on Thursday. And then on Friday, our final Wave Next stream will be from our Japan team. So they'll be streaming in Japanese on Friday at 6 p.m. JST. So we hope that you guys join whatever streams apply to you and make sense for you. And we're looking forward to another week of awesome streams.
And if you miss any streams, of course, the VODs will be up on Twitch and on YouTube. And of course, we have plenty of YouTube videos that are also live going over all the products. In fact, we're going to record a YouTube video in just a bit here.
Yep.
Or at least try to. Hopefully my neck decides to play along
just
yeah.
All right, let's go through. Just make sure if your neck hurts, make it a clean cut. Don't let the audio go over. Make sure to look at the camera, to speak into the mic. Yep. All right, cool. Chat, any advice for Phil as he records his YouTube video? Let's we're all directors here. I wish I had the clapper. That'd
oh my god, the clapper, and everyone gets a everyone has the director's chair.
Yeah, you guys might have the little clippy emotes. All right, so when it's time to go live, make sure you spam those.
But no, let's do it.
Yeah.
I think. Oh yeah, stay hydrated. That's of course very important. In fact, thanks for the reminder.
Do you have your water?
I do have water. I think at this point we can take a look at a video from who is it? I am Fall from Grace, talking about her
Wavelink
setup.
3.0.
And then we'll be back and let's dive into it. Enough yapping.
How much water do you need?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Let's check out the video from I Am Fall from Grace.
We'll be right back.
If I could tell creators one thing about why Wave Next matters for their audio, it would be that no matter how simple or complex their setup is, Wave Next will work for them. No matter if you're a single PC, single mic streamer, a work from home professional with only a headset mic, or a professional broadcaster, the software and hardware that we're getting out of Wave Next is completely scalable. Audio isn't a one-size-fits-all, and people's understanding of audio obviously also varies. What's fantastic about the new Wavelink 3.0 software, for example, is how it takes something as complex as audio routing and mixing and simplifies it in a digestible way for even the complete beginners. Elgato have clearly worked really hard to make this accessible and scalable to ensure everyone is sounding their best. The biggest difference that I've noticed in how I route and mix my audio with the new completely rebuilt Wavelink 3.0 is having more than 2 mixes within the software. I need multiple variations from my own monitoring mix, what goes out of my voice chat mix, and my stream mix. I personally monitor my microphone from my audio interface directly, so I don't want my microphone on my monitoring mix, but I of course need it on my voice chat mix and my stream mix. But then I don't want my friends in Discord hearing my game or my alerts, right? Now that might sound complicated, but it's literally a single click to add or remove an input from each mix. And it's laid out in a way that is so easy to understand at a glance. And you can always check how it's sounding with a single click to listen to that mix on your main output if you need to. Yet again, simplifying something that may otherwise seem overly complex if you're new to the world of audio. My first impressions of the revamped Wavelink 3.0 right off the bat is I love the setup tours. I think this will be a fantastic help for new creators who might not yet have a great understanding of their audio gear. No knowledge is assumed and you're gently guided through each step without an information overload, even down to the best proximity for the Wave DX. I love seeing the little information buttons that provide short summaries of the settings for people not as familiar with audio terms, such as gain lock, phantom power, clip guard, and low impedance mode. A feature that I also really like is the ability to bundle apps within each channel. This is something that was doable in the old Wavelink. However, I feel like it's a lot more streamlined in Wavelink 3.0 with the ability to search for apps rather than needing them to be playing audio to be detected. VSTs have also never been easier to add and keep track of thanks to this beautiful new UI design. A lot of the features that people love about the new Wavelink 3.0 were also possible in the old Wavelink software, but they were perhaps a little easy to miss if you didn't know what you were looking for, like toggling on and off VST effects. In Wavelink 3.0, they are very obvious on-off toggle buttons, which you can't miss, And that goes for when a channel is muted as well. The team have absolutely smashed the UI design out of the park. I absolutely love having Elgato Marketplace open in the app. This is such a win, and it totally streamlines the process of searching for, downloading, and adding VSTs like the Elgato compressor, Elgato EQ, and the noise removal. And one last little feature that I think could easily be missed is the locking. We all know that Windows likes to play funny buggers with your audio from time to time, so the lock default input device and the lock default output device are such great additions to Wavelink 3.0 to ensure those devices never change on you. Massive congratulations to Elgato for this epic Wave Next lineup, and for all of you watching, I'm excited for you to get hands-on.
All right, and we're back. That was an awesome video. Thank you so much. I am Fall from Grace. Go check out her channel. I think she's also made some videos on either Wave 3 or the Wave Next stuff. So really great to have a look at Wavelink 3.0 from her there. But now, chat, what we're going to do, so I mentioned a little bit earlier, if you're just tuning in, what we're going to do is I'm going to record like a live YouTube video. So I'm going to do, basically the style is going to be that I'm going to walk through what it's like setting up Wavelink for the first time. I'm not going to be reading chat during that time. We're going to have a lot of questions obviously come in and stuff like that. Once we're done with the video though, Brito will actually have all of your questions, and then we can go through stuff and then kind of go from there. But for now, I'm just going to focus on essentially recording this video. I hope it works out. So again, no talking in the peanut gallery, you know, that kind of thing. And we'll just jump right into it. So let's see here. Okay. A little bit nervous, right? Because you don't want to mess up. I mean, we can cut, but I'd rather not cut. Quick drink of water. Okay. Let's do this. Hey, I'm Phil from Elgato, and I want to walk you through Wavelink 3.0 for the first time. So when you install Wavelink 3.0 and you have a Elgato Wave device connected, you're going to be greeted by this screen here. This is our new first-time setup walkthrough of your Wave device, where you can configure and make sure that you have audio coming in through your Wave device, you have the gain correctly configured, that you have your headphones connected, you have audio going out. You'll get a quick tour of your device, where all the different connections are, where the mute button is. You can test if you've got your audio running through it. You'll also learn how to position your microphone. And basically, once you go through this, your microphone is going to be set up and ready to go. Of course, the star of the show here are going to be the mixes. And compared to Wavelink 2.0, this does look a little bit different. So this is the view that you'll be greeted with when you install Wavelink 3.0 for the first time. Your Wave device is going to be added here on the left side, and there's going to be a system channel. Now, of course, this is Windows specific. It's going to be a little bit different on Mac. Let's take a look at the general layout here. On the left side, again, are your inputs or your channels. This is similar to in Wavelink 2.0, where you had the vertical inputs. On the top here are your new mixes. This is where Wavelink 3.0 is new. You can add up to 5 mixes. And you do that by clicking this plus button over here. So you can create up to 5 mixes. In this case, it actually starts us with a personal mix, a stream mix, and a chat mix. I'm just going to go ahead and add a new mix here. And this is actually one that some of you might be familiar with, which is the mic effects mix. Now, what's really cool is mixes in Wavelink 3.0 are not predefined. You can create a mix for whatever you want. I'll go in here, add another mix, and we're actually going to rename this mic FX. Simple as that, mic FX. And there we go. Now we have a new mix that I can route sources, channels, devices, apps, and other audio into. So for example, I can take a microphone here, and in this case, the Wave 3 Mark II, and simply route it into mic effects. And now it's going to be playing through the mic effects mix. Of course, I've also got system here. Now, I don't want to route system through there. I've already got the system audio routed to my personal mix here, which is also the one that I'm monitoring. Speaking of monitoring, you can decide which mix you want to listen to at any point simply by clicking on this ear icon next to the mix, and this will change the mix that you're currently listening to. At the top here is where you select the actual output of the monitoring mix. So for example, in this case, it's on headphones, Elgato Wave 3 Mark II. It could also be your system's headphone output. It could be AirPods. It could be another device, whatever it is. But this is essentially going to be your main monitoring output. And again, you can change that by clicking this ear icon here to change which mix it's currently listening to. So that's a quick look at mixes. And on the left side here are your input channels. Again, I've got Wave 3 here already, and I've got System as well. System is on Windows. This works the same way that it did in Wavelink 2.0, where this is essentially just an empty mix that you can add anything into, and you could use it as your default output. So for example, here in Windows, I can go in and I can simply set System as the default output. Now, if there's any notifications or any apps that I haven't routed yet, those will play through the System channel. Let's go ahead and start adding some other inputs. I'm going to start here with one. We'll say Discord here for voice chat. This is how you can add apps into Wavelink. You can either find them in this list here just simply by scrolling, and this will show you all your installed applications. Or, because you might have a lot of applications installed, you can simply search for it. In this case, I'll select Discord. Now, I have Discord routed into Wavelink, but it's not actually going to any mixes yet. And so in this new mixing view, you actually have to add it to a mix. So in this case, I'll hover over this plus button here and simply click. And now Discord is going to the personal mix. Of course, I also want Discord to go to the stream mix. And I also want it to go to the chat mix. I'm of course not going to add Discord to mic effects because I don't want that to route back into the friends that I'm chatting with. So that's how simple it is to add Discord in there. Now, what about games? So games you might have multiple of, and in Wavelink 3.0, you can create up to 8 input channels here. It's 8 input channels together with 4 wave devices for essentially a total of 12 inputs into Wavelink. But you might have many more than just 8 games. So how does this work? Well, in Wavelink, a single channel can have multiple applications assigned to it. So for example, I could type in, I'll do Hades 2 as a game here, and I'll go ahead and route that to the personal mix, the stream mix, and maybe also the chat mix. But again, not mic effects. Now I can go into this Hades channel, and you'll see I can add additional apps into that. And so here I can then select something like Valorant or any other game that I have installed. I can simply go in here, and even if the app isn't running yet, I can go ahead and select it. I'll add Helldivers 2 there as well. Of course, since the channel is now not just Hades 2 anymore, it's multiple games, I can also go in and I can rename this to something like Games. And if I really wanted to, I can also go in and change the icon to something like Game. And there we go. Now, those 3 games, whenever they're launched, those will be routed into this games channel here. And of course, I can add any new game I want to these. And the really great thing is that you can do this for all of these channels. So for example, if you actually have different applications that you use to chat with, for example, Teams or Zoom or Slack or TeamSpeak, besides only Discord, you can also add those in here as well. So now let's go ahead and also add Stream Deck. I can do that so I can create essentially a soundboard. I'll add it to the personal mix, I'll add it to the stream mix, and I'll go ahead and add it to mic effects. And you'll notice now microphone effects is basically the same thing as it was back during Wavelink 2.0. And I can also, of course, go ahead and add another mix up there if I want to. So that's how simple it is to add different channels into and different applications, games into Wavelink. If you want to create empty channels, there's also a nice, easy way of doing that. You can simply click on Create Channel, and then at the bottom here of this menu, you'll see Add Empty Channel. And here you can select essentially a pre-made empty channel. So for example, if I did have one where I'm going to route some random apps into, I'll select aux1. And again, there's nothing going into aux1 right now. There's no apps. Now I can go in here and add those. And in Windows, aux1 will appear as just a output that you can route any app to. I'll go ahead and add that to all of my different mixes here, and we're good to go. Now, something that's really cool about Wavelink 3.0 is a new feature that we added, which is locking the default device. So as you know, if you plug in a new device, such as a controller, or even a new microphone or something like that, Windows will often change the output. What you can do is you can actually have Windows lock the input device and the output device. Do that by heading into Settings, and then you'll see here under Windows Settings, lock default input device. So for example, here you could set this to mic effects, and you can choose lock output device. And in this case, you can make that system. This will just be the default device. Of course, your apps and games will route into their respective channels. This is simply for that fallback method where you launch a new app for the first time and it needs to go somewhere. And of course, you want it to go in Wavelink. So that's routing and mixing in Wavelink. Again, at the top here, you have mixes. You can create up to 5 of these if you want to. You can rename them. You can change icons. And these are the mixes that you then add into something like OBS Studio. Then you have your input channels on the left-hand side. So these are going to be your microphone. This could be a virtual channel like system audio, and this can be specific apps. It can be more than that, though. It can also be things like a capture card. I can go ahead and add a physical input here. In this case, this is a 4K 60 Pro. Or I could even add additional microphones if I wanted to. For example, here I'm going to add this HyperX Quadcast. So you can route not only software, but you can also route hardware into Wavelink. So that's one part of Wavelink, is the routing and mixing. The next part is audio effects. And audio effects work much the same way that they do in Wavelink 2.0. You'll see that each of these channels here has a little effect button. You can simply click on it and you can start adding any effects that you have within Wavelink. So for example, if I want to add a compressor to my sound effects channel, or a Stream Deck in this case, so that way sound effects are never too loud, I can simply go in here, click Add Effect, choose any of the effects I have. In this case, I'm going to choose Elgato Compressor, set it up, and now that is going to be applied to the Stream Deck input. And this then applies across all of the mixes that it's also added to. Let's say I go ahead and add Spotify here for music. If I want to add an additional EQ on that, I can do that as well. We'll go here, we'll add it to Personal Mix, Stream Mix, and I can go in and add a Elgato EQ, add a little bit more bass on there, and there we go. Now I've got more bass in my music. So it's incredibly simple. The VSTs that you see on Windows or on Mac OS are ones that are going to be installed in the default system location. So for VST3 and AU, that's actually always the same place. If you have VST2s, then you will need to select where those are installed, as there's not a common location. And Wavelink 3 will discover those effects when you launch the application, and will scan for new ones. You can, of course, also scan for new plugins when you've installed them yourself if you would like to. To install more audio effects, you can, of course, find plenty of your own on the internet, or you can go to Elgato Marketplace, which is now integrated into Wavelink 3.0, and you can simply log in and then find new audio effects there. Ones from Elgato, ones from makers in the community. Some are free, some are paid. Of course, you can also add those to even hardware inputs, such as the capture card here in this case, or you can also add them to other microphones. So this is not limited to just virtual channels or Elgato Wave devices. So that's a high-level look at effects as well. It's incredibly simple to add. You simply click on the channel effects, go in here, add any effect that you want, and that will be in each of the mixes that you have the channel added to. There's some other cool things. So for example, if you want to learn more about this, how channels and mixes and effects work, the bottom right of Wavelink, you have this little academic hat icon. And there's some guided steps here to tell you all about how you can create a channel, how to add a new mix, and how to monitor. There's also a new compact view. So if you, for example, have all your audio set up and you typically don't change much, or you simply don't have a lot of monitor real estate, then you can click on compact view at the top here. and you'll see now you have a much smaller view of all of your input channels going into Wavelink here. This main view here, all channels, will adjust the actual device going into each mix, or you can adjust the volume on a per mix level if you want to do that as well. And of course, you can go back into the main view if you want to. If you have Stream Deck, we also have a export to Stream Deck function. You can click on this little export button here. You can select the Stream Deck device that you have, and then if you have the Wavelink Stream Deck plugin installed, it'll go ahead and actually prompt you to move that over into Stream Deck. So that makes setup incredibly simple, and it's based on the configuration that you have inside of Wavelink here. So you have your input channels, you have your mixes, you've gone through your effects. So how would you add this into, say, something like OBS Studio? Well, it's quite simple. In OBS, you would simply select the stream mix as the mic or as the input device, and that's how you would get the audio in. So for example, you would go into settings here, into audio, and then simply as mic or auxiliary audio, the first one here, you can simply select the stream mix. And there you go. That's it. Uh, there's also obviously the ability to add a VOD track. We're not going to cover that in this video. There will be a separate guide and video for that. But it's that simple. And this will apply the stream mix across every scene that you have set up in OBS. And the same applies to any other app that you're using, like Meld Studio, for example. You want to add your mic effects into Discord. In Discord, you simply select your audio input as microphone effects. And that's it. That's how quick it is to get set up with Wavelink 3.0. First, configure your mixes, then configure your input channels, route all your games, route all your apps, route whatever you want, including hardware, right into Wavelink 3.0. Add effects, make sure that it all sounds good, and then add those mixes into the applications that you want to use them in. If you have any questions, leave them as comments below. We'll be making more guides and videos on Wavelink 3.0. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. All right, did I do it? I think I needed that drink of water there. I think I did it. One shot. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. W video. All right, Sean. I think that's paid commentary there. But yeah, I think I got it. That's pretty good. I don't know how long the time was on that. Maybe someone kept the time, but obviously, there's a lot of stuff that I just showed. I wanted to keep it a little bit. I need more water. A little bit more high level. I saw some questions come in though, so I think at this point, maybe Brito, do you want to pull out some questions that we can go over?
So the most recent question's pretty good for you to answer here. Ashraf asks, what's the difference between the monitoring mix or outputs and the drop down in the top right next to the ear? They were a little confused about that.
Sure, and that's something I actually just didn't cover because that gets a little bit more advanced. So this is going to be your main output. This is essentially where you select the device that you primarily are going to want to listen to. But what's really cool about Wavelink 3 is you also have the ability to add on a per mix basis more physical outputs. So for example, here personal mix, you can see here that it's got one output, which right now is the monitor device. If I go into the mix, I can actually add more monitor out or basically more outputs to that mix. So for example, let's say I'm in a 2 PC setup. I can actually use Wavelink to then send that mix out to something like a capture card here, so like the Camlink Pro, where I could send it out to speakers or any other audio device. So if I simply select here, like Realtek output, there we go. Now this one mix is playing out through not only the main monitoring device, but also this secondary audio output, whatever that might be. So yeah, that's how you would do that. Note that this is on a per mix basis. So for example, I've got Realtek digital output here selected as the output for personal mix. I can't also add that to the stream mix. So what would actually happen is if I then choose it here in the stream mix, you would see it says transfer device from another mix. So if I add it here, it then moves it off of the personal mix. Keep in mind, also personal mix is simply because we named it that by default. You could totally rename this, right? This does not need to be personal mix. You could also just call this the stream mix and basically just monitor the stream mix, right? I'll keep calling this personal mix, but you could very easily just always monitor the personal mix and or sorry, yeah, you could always monitor the stream mix if that's the same one that you're that's going out. So
Right.
yeah.
We've got another question from Vamprov. How do they add an app that doesn't show up, like, for example, TeamSpeak?
So there is a way to do this. So first of all, you'll want to make sure, I mean, double check that it does show up in here, right? You can type in TeamSpeak. I don't have it installed, of course, so it's not going to show up there. Um, you may also want to just try launching TeamSpeak and playing some audio. It might appear then. The final way that you can do this is if it's not showing up in Wavelink, you could still make like for example, a voice chat channel, then go into Windows and go into the sound settings here, basically more volume settings. Scroll down to volume mixer, and here you can find your device, your basically TeamSpeak, right? The app that's running, and literally, I'll show it to you as Wavelink here, but you literally select. So this would be TeamSpeak, and then you go to output device, and you just select. In this case, it would be voice chat. Or you can also output it in, I'm sure TeamSpeak has output settings. Just select your voice chat channel there. Um, that's also another way to do it. You could then also rename it to TeamSpeak if you want to. So that's kind of I guess, the work around there.
All right. Alan asks, can you explain about sound effects and how to add effects?
Are we talking VST sound effects or like an MP3 sound
I
effect?
think they're probably talking about audio effects, but I will, if Alan, if you want to clarify in the chat,
I mean, we could kind of
yeah,
do both, I guess. So,
that's fine.
yeah, the first one is if you want to install VST effects, you can, of course, just grab those from outside of Wavelink. There's plenty around. They've been around for a while. Or you can open Marketplace, and I'll just go ahead and log in here, actually. Uh, Without leaking it. There we go. And then you can go in here to audio effects, for example, and then find ones that are free or paid and install those. So that's one way that you can get audio effects, and those will just be available right inside of Wavelink. If you're talking about the other audio effects, as in you want a soundboard in there, well, find an app that it plays, files, something like, of course, Stream Deck. You could even just use a web browser, and then you can simply route that into Wavelink. So, for example, let's say this aux1. What I'm actually going to do here is I'll just route like Microsoft Edge, and then there's plenty of those free soundboard websites. You simply play that soundboard, and now Microsoft Edge is gonna, play it. You'll hear it in your headphones, and it can go out to the mic effects mix here, and of course to the stream as well. So hopefully that answers the question there.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was specific about the SFX channel to add the sound effects.
yeah, and the nice thing is it doesn't have to be the SFX channel. So this is really something that is new with Wavelength 3.0. This idea that you have a specific channel that a specific something has to go into, that's not really a thing here in Wavelink, right? Like I could take Microsoft Edge and play my sound effects there. I could do Stream Deck if I wanted to. In fact, I could simply take the Stream Deck channel, rename this now, call it SFX, and then add Edge on here as well, right? So now if I have sound effects that are playing in Stream Deck, those will go through this channel. And if I have sound effects that go through Edge, then those will also play through the same channel. So, and I just renamed it there, right? So it really, like, there's no, I have to do this a certain way. It's simply the way that you want to do it, whatever makes the most sense for you. You could also add another empty channel if you wanted to there. But again, you don't have to. That's the beauty of this. You can do whatever you kind of want there.
Jayron asks, what is VST3 and VST2?
VST3 is the latest version of essentially audio effects. VST stands for, um, is it Virtual Studio technology? No, I'm actually blanking on it. But essentially, you can take things that typically were done in hardware. Essentially, like if you imagine those old boards in like the 70s and 80s, right, that transformed your sound, that added like synth on there or reverb or something like that. It's basically that, but in software. And these are again installed through Elgato Marketplace, or there's plenty of them online as well. And you can go ahead and add those to your different inputs. So that could be microphones, it could be a capture card, it could be a game, or like I demonstrated the music channel here. I can go ahead and re-add that again. If you want to add some more EQ to Spotify, um, then Virtual Studio Technology, there it is. Then you can go ahead and just add an EQ on there. Pretty simple.
Great, and you were correct. It is Virtual Studio.
Nice.
You win 10 points.
Just 10? Okay.
The points don't matter
Mm-hmm.
until they do. DJ asks or mentions that they need all of their audio sources from OBS to connect to Wavelink 3.0. How do you recommend doing that?
They need all their audio. I can't talk anymore. All of their audio sources from OBS?
Yes, to connect to Wavelink 3.0.
I guess maybe can you do a follow-up? Like, what kind of sources are we talking about? Because typically OBS doesn't play out a lot of audio, right? OBS takes in audio. I know there's some cases where OBS does output audio, for example, alerts, right? If you take a browser source, you can actually have OBS output that. In fact, you could actually just capture OBS. You can bring OBS into Wavelink. So any sound that is played out through OBS will now go into Wavelink. And then you could add it to your personal mix. You could add it to, of course, your stream mix. So that way, if you have alerts, they play out. So, but yeah, I think a little bit more detail there would be good because I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. We have a question from Shabumi who says that they switch between PC USB speakers, wireless headphones, and Bluetooth earbuds for monitoring. Do you have any suggestions on how they would set this up to switch between the device they're monitoring with? And bonus if they can control it with a Stream Deck Plus dial. So you get a bonus 5 points if you can do it with the dial.
Yeah, we can actually just set this up together. So I'll go here to Stream Deck Plus XL. We've got one. We've got one here, and you can do this with keys or with dials. So the first one here is the mix output device. So I can just put this on a key, and I can set it. I can choose which device I want to output to, and I can choose the mix that it's being output. Of course, in this case, what needs to happen is I can either toggle it, but that's only two mixes then, right? Personal mix and a stream mix, and it's only one device. So you can set it to set, basically just do only this, and then you can copy and paste that key, and set it up for another output. So for example, now you could change it to a different device, right? Like speakers. There we go. So now we have two different outputs here for the same mix. With dials, there's a cool way you can do this, which is using the action wheel. So it's a little bit like a weapon select in a game, right? Like in GTA, the weapon wheel comes up. A little bit like that. You can right click on a dial, click on create action wheel, and now you can take that same action and put it onto this. So you said you had 4 outputs, so I can take all 4 of my outputs here, or all 4 of my actions. I can change each one to, okay, so we'll do wave 3. Then we'll do, in this case, we'll do, I don't know, the monitor speakers, right? Just as an example here. We'll do our Realtek, another output, and you know what? We'll just do one more. And now on Stream Deck, what I can do is I can simply rotate this dial. You can kind of see there, it might be, maybe I can zoom in here. You can see I can rotate this dial, and it's actually going between the different outputs. And now I simply tap it, and that's the one that becomes active, right? Isn't that cool?
Wow, 5 points.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how that works. There's
Awesome.
also, you can also change your main output device. This is another one that you can change here. So you can, do your mix, you can do your main monitor output. So there's different ways that you can do this. In this case, this is actually a mix control here. I guess it probably would be more accurate to do it with the main output device, because this is actually adding it as that hardware output to a mix. So hopefully that's clear. If you install Wavelink 3.0 in the plugin, Takes like 2 seconds, and then you can try this all out yourself as well.
Pause asks, how do they make sure OBS or NVIDIA broadcast doesn't change the audio of their Wave 3?
That it doesn't change the audio of the Wave
That it
3.
doesn't mess with the audio?
Uh, well, it shouldn't if you I guess OBS, like, it won't mess with the audio, right? If you route your Wave device through those, if you route it through OBS broadcast of OBS, NVIDIA broadcast, of course, NVIDIA broadcast will, alter it depending on how you have it set up, but it's not gonna, like, do anything, I guess, bad to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Two general recommendations, or if you have an Elgato mic, is turning on wave gain lock
mhm.
so that Windows isn't changing your settings. And then another thing is making sure that in your Windows settings, those voice enhancements are off. You want to
Yes,
showcase
yeah.
that real quick again? Might be useful for
If we
chat.
actually have it on here, it's been a little bit different for everyone.
Oh,
But
A/B testing.
so, for example, actually, I noticed this the other day. I was messing around with VSTs, and the VST like was sounding strange. Like my mic sounded okay, but when I added the VST effect on there, it started sounding strange. Turns out Windows 11 has some built-in, basically also background noise removal. And so where you would find this is inside of your sound settings, and then you actually want to go to your microphone specifically. So not the virtual audio, but go to their hardware device. So here, Wave 3 Mark II. And what you'll see here is typically it'll show up either right here inside of these settings, or there's also the more advanced sound settings that you can go to. Um, so if I go here to Elgato, I got to go to recording, and then we go to mic in, Wave 3, properties, and then if you go to advanced, you'll see something here as well about enabling or disabling audio enhancements. So I guess it's not on our system here, but some people have been noticing this, and so you can turn it off there. Um, yeah.
Um, Similar vibe with NVIDIA Broadcast. Jealousy asks if they're able to pass through NVIDIA Broadcast as an input device in Wavelink, because they like using NVIDIA Broadcast for the background noise suppression.
Sure, you can absolutely. You would just add it as an input, right? So NVIDIA Broadcast essentially is, to your computer looks like a microphone. So what you would do is here in Wavelink, I'm just going to go ahead and remove a channel or two here. You just go in, and it should show up here, actually, right at the top, which is where you find your hardware devices. So NVIDIA Broadcast should show up right here. You can, of course, also search for it, but yeah, it would show up right at the top. Here's an interesting thing, though. So if you're going from essentially your Wave device to NVIDIA Broadcast to Wavelink, that adds a software step in the middle. We actually have a NVIDIA Broadcast VST that you can run right within Wavelink. So you don't need NVIDIA Broadcast anymore if you don't want it. So what you can do is you can just go to Elgato Marketplace, Audio Effects, and then it's called, where is it here? Is it just noise removal?
I think that's a CPU powered one.
That's the other one. There is one, maybe I have it installed already, but there's the NVIDIA Broadcast Noise Removal, which you can just go ahead and add right onto, whichever mic that you're using. So, in this case, yeah, I'll just add it here to our Wave 3 Mark II, Elgato, and then you would see it in here. However, there's even another thing. If you have an Elgato microphone, it comes with voice focus. So voice focus is also using machine learning to remove background noise. It only runs on your CPU, so it doesn't run on your GPU. Um, it sounds better than NVIDIA Broadcast, and it uses much less resources. So it sounds better. It uses less resources, as in you probably won't even notice that it's active. My suggestion would be try that and see if that doesn't work for you. My feeling is that it's probably going to be great, and that you'll actually be surprised by just how good it is, and you won't need NVIDIA Broadcast anymore. So if you have an Elgato Wave microphone, voice focus comes with it. You can simply go into the settings here, and you'll see software effects, voice focus. Then you can also change the strength here if you want to.
We're also doing a voice focus giveaway for the standalone VST later today on the stream for 3 codes. So 3 people will walk away from the stream with a Elgato voice focus VST code.
Yep.
All right. Shibumi has redacted the 5 points. Said don't give out those 5 points too quickly. They ask if those dials will control the volume as well.
Sure, absolutely. So if you have a Stream Deck with dials, then you can go in here. Again, I've got, basically empty Stream Deck Plus XL. I can go over to dials, and then here you have wave control, channel level, mix level, and output control. So in this case, channel level is going to be your inputs. So you can take channel level. I can here select something like Discord, and then now I can go ahead and rotate the dial here to change the levels here. And it also shows it in real time. So for example, if I add another one and I actually do Wave 3 Mark II, check that out. There we go. So now that's controlling the microphone levels inside of all the mixes, and I can rotate the dial here. And then when I stop for a little bit, it goes back to showing the levels. So it looks really, really nice. And yeah, you can control any input. You can control could be a third-party mic, could be a capture card, music, whatever it is, any input channel. You can also control the mix levels individually. So, for example, if you want your personal mix to actually be louder or quieter, I don't typically recommend this. Like your mix should just be at 100% always. And this is just some general like audio theory recommendation. Your mix should always basically be at 100%. There's very few reasons why it should be at not 100% because remember, this is where everything's being mixed together and then being sent out. So if you want, for example, your game to be lower or you want your mic to be lower, don't lower your entire mix. Just lower the microphone, right? Or lower the game or something like that. But your mix should basically always be at 100%. You can also control, of course, the output device volume. So this is basically the device that you're monitoring. So same thing here. If there's sound going out to it, then you can uh, change that volume there.
Great question to follow from there about monitoring. Foul Plays asks, can you monitor 2 different mixes at the same time? They've had their friends hear themselves during Discord screen share, and seems like a good fix.
Can you monitor 2 different mixes? No. So you can only monitor 1 mix at a time. Basically, you have your device up here that you select as your monitor output device, and you just select whichever mix you want to whichever mix you
Could
want
add
to
another
hear.
output, right?
You could add another output, but that's only for hardware, right? So this would be basically you would add a pair of speakers or a second pair of headphones or something like that. But yeah, what you hear is typically just through one output.
Boomy says the 5 points are awarded.
Awesome. I don't know what those were for. I don't
Oh, they're really
remember.
important later, so just
Oh,
make sure
okay.
to hang
All
on to
right.
those.
I do see a mention about, voice focus for third-party mics. So I think that's a good one to answer here. You have an Elgato Wave microphone. Could be something from all the way from the Wave Neo to, Wave XLR Pro, Wave XLR, Wave 3 Mark II, Wave 3, Wave 1, right? Any of our devices. You get Elgato Voice Focus for free on that device. It'll show up right here. In fact, it'll just be there. You don't need to add it or do something special. You're using a non-Elgato input. So for example, in this case, it could be, I'm using a HyperX Quadcast, right? That's also new with Wavelink is that you don't need an Elgato mic or a Blue Yeti. You can also add voice focus here. However, it's a different version that you actually have to purchase separately. This is one of the benefits of getting an Elgato Wave device. You get voice focus with it. If you want it on your other inputs, so for example, here the HyperX, you can go in, you can still add Elgato voice focus. But to do this, you have to either win it in the giveaway, which we're going to do today, or you can go ahead on Elgato Marketplace and purchase it there. The cool thing is you're not limited to just one input. So for example, I can add voice focus here. I could also add voice focus then to my voice chat channel. So let's say my friends are being super loud and they have bad mics and obviously what good audio sounds like. They have no idea. You can go in and add voice focus to your voice chat channel. And so now it's running there as well. So yes, you're purchasing it and you can use it across then any channels or any inputs in Wavelink. And it doesn't just work in Wavelink. If you're using DaVinci Resolve, or if you're using Audacity, or any other app that supports VST3 effects or AU effects, then you can use voice focus there. So it's incredibly powerful. And that's the difference. You get it for free for just your Wave device. with an Elgato mic, or if you have any other input, then you can buy it as a separate effect and use it wherever you want.
We have a few questions about that.
Okay.
Project mentions that if they get the Wave XLR and plug in their XLR mic into that, does that microphone then like work with voice
Yep,
focus?
it
Or
does. Yeah. So if you have a Wave XLR, excuse me, an XLR dock, XLR dock Mark II, Wave XLR Mark II, and you plug your whatever analog mic it is, that gets voice focus because essentially what's unlocking it for you is that XLR interface that you have from Elgato.
yep. And same for you, Devi, who asked about Stream Deck Plus XLR dock. Yes, you do also get voice focus for that microphone. But if you do want it for any other input, you'll need to buy the standalone VST to add that. All right. Cool. Go back to an earlier question because I think this can apply to a lot of people as they start installing Wavelink 3.0 today, or maybe later this week. Jayron mentions that chat. Sorry. Jayron says chat says to install Wavelink 3.0, you need to first uninstall Wavelink 2.0. Will there be a tutorial showing how to properly install 3.0 from a 2.0 user? If so, will the tutorial show both macOS and Windows?
So I don't think we're going to make a specific guide on that. It's our recommendation to uninstall Wavelink 2.0. You don't have to, but it's our recommendation to do that. To uninstall Wavelink or just, I mean, any app really on Windows at this point, you can just go into your basically your settings and then just go to apps on the left here. This is on Windows 11, of course. Then go to installed apps. And then here you can simply search for Wavelink and then, of course, anything you type in, right, Wavelink, it'll show up. You can just click on uninstall. That's how you do that. On Mac, it's a little bit different. On Mac, you simply drag the icon in the applications folder to your trash, and that uninstalls it. So it's pretty simple. Yeah, we also have I think if I go on Edge here, I'll go Explorer. Can't type today. Man, that's unfortunate. Then we also have a guide here for if you are transitioning from Wavelength 2.0 to 3.0. Yep, we have a guide here, which talks all about what carries over and what doesn't. Little note, nothing does. Talks about how to upgrade here. You get a little intro on basically what we went through earlier in the video, talking about mixes and inputs. We tell you to update your Stream Deck plugin because, of course, the Wavelength 2 plugin is now legacy, as in there's actually two separate plugins. And then, of course, we show you how to get set up with Stream Deck quickly again, and then recreating this microphone effects mix because we have seen some confusion out there from some of you that you upgrade to 3.0 and then there's no more mic effects. Where did it go? Here it just gives you a quick hint on how to re-add it. Yeah, so you can find this on Elgato Explorer, or maybe someone can link it in the chat.
Ooh, we're getting so many questions.
It's what we're here for. We're live
Yep.
all week, folks. And
Oh,
yeah,
great.
let me maybe just reiterate because I
Yep.
see some discussion going on. And I'm going to say this, if you're watching the whole live stream, A, you're awesome. B, you're going to hear this a couple times now. But if you have an issue with Wavelength 3.0, please do reach out to our customer support team. That's the best way to get help, and that's the best way for us to make sure that we track these issues internally. You can post them on Discord, you can post them on Reddit, and obviously we take the time to collect all of that and just basically pass it to our dev team. But really the best way is to contact our support team because what they can do is either there's already a fix for it, or they'll collect log files and other information from you, and then that makes it easier for our QA and our dev team to figure out maybe what the issue is and how to fix it. So again, I cannot stress it enough. Just please contact our support team via that link. And even if it's just a bug where you're like, hey, I found this and maybe Wavelink is still working, but it's kind of weird, just wanted to report it. Again, quickest thing is just do that via our customer support team.
Yep. I'm also not queuing up those kinds of questions because your setup is very particular to you, and our
Indeed.
help team will be way better suited to address that. So just a note, I'm not ignoring your questions. It's just not the right thing to showcase on this stream. Yeah, but it would be interesting. Imagine if we get all tech support on a stream one day.
We could do that. We could get Troy and the team on here.
Yeah.
Chat. Let us know if that's something because something that we pride ourselves in is we have real people on our customer support team. You know, you can call, you can talk, email with them, uh, you can talk with a real human. Um, and yeah.
Yep. So definitely be sure to reach out if you have any questions or need any additional support for that. All right.
Oh, I
So,
guess maybe, one thing I can show quickly because I know we have questions, but just to show it, Wavelink 3.0 works without an Elgato mic. Did you know that? Like, if you're watching right now and you're like, oh, I've been thinking about something, or like, I'm not really there yet, I want to try it out first, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Check this out. Let's go back to the screen here. And with Wavelink 2.0, if you disconnected your Elgato mic, well, that was it. You were done. Now with Wavelink 3.0, I can simply go ahead and disconnect Wave 3 here. And check it out. It still works. In fact, I can actually go ahead and remove it, and I can remove any input. Now it's literally just a virtual mixer. Audio effects still work, routing still works. I have no hardware inputs at all. There's no hardware going in. I can, of course, select a different output for my headphones now. But essentially, yeah, now I could go in and add whatever else, could be a laptop mic, could be, here, HyperX. Boom. Now I've got my HyperX mic in Wavelink, which is super cool. You can add voice focus. If you purchase it from Elgato Marketplace or you win it today, you can add voice focus. You can add things like our free EQ compressor. You can add tiny phone if you want to sound like you're on the radio. All of this stuff works with every microphone out there now and every audio input. You do not need an Elgato mic anymore. So if you've been wondering also, oh, I want to give Wavelink a try, but I'm not sure. Well, just hey, it's free. You can download it right now uh, and check it out.
awesome. Oh, what a nice comment. Let me bring that up real quick. Ashraf says, I'm digging this. It's clicking with me now. I might just get another Stream Deck Plus, but the XL version. I'm glad you're understanding it and that this is helpful for you.
Yep.
Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, speaking of Tiny Phone, we did mention that. We actually did have a question earlier from PKN who says, when they use voice effects like Tiny Phone or Pip-Boy voice effects, the volume their friends are getting is always lower than their mic without any effects. Is there a way to increase the volume of these effects?
Uh, Good question. Typically, these effects will have something built in. So let's say, for example, here I add tiny phone. You can see here, it looks like this doesn't have anything built in. It should be the same level. Of course, it does change the level, right? Because the effect is doing something. Um, there are other things that you can do here. So one is obviously increase the mic gain itself. There are also even effects that you can get on Elgato Marketplace that simply add where you can add more gain to your mic. Like it's just an audio effect. I believe it's actually I wonder if it's this one here, monocore. This one here, I think you can add more gain. If not, I'm also working on a audio effect, which is literally called like simple gain, that you can just add more gain to your microphone input. Like it just does it with ultra low latency. You can just crank up the volume a little bit. So it's not on there right now, but be on the lookout for it. I'm hoping to get it up this week.
Yep. Right. Ehud asks, can you demonstrate showing how to fine tune your mic effects?
Sure. Let me for that I'll reconnect Wave 3 here.
And then while you do that, I'll answer a quick question from Millie who says, when will the video be online? Online. Well, after the stream, we'll probably have that video sent over
I
to
think
our
we could
team to
probably get
edit.
it up today,
Um,
at some point.
like today or tomorrow. Um,
Yep.
yep.
Okay, so I've got Wave 3 Mark II connected here, and you can access the effects either on the mix page, or if you want even more settings, then you can go onto the device page here. I'm just going to stay on the mix page and go into effects. So tuning your microphone or tweaking the settings is entirely dependent on you. So something that might sound good to me is different than what sounds good to you. My number one recommendation there is to start light and start simple. So for example, I'm going to add an equalizer onto the Wave 3 here. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up. You can see here there's a very light touch on all of these changes right now, right? Like it's just like, okay, this is like 1.5 decibels here. This is a 1.5 shelf at the bottom here. You can, of course, crank it like this, but typically it's going to sound really bad. So what you want to do is you want to start really light with your changes. There's also something really cool built into both the EQ and the one that you can get as an audio effect. It actually shows you. You can click on this little thing here, and depending on where you move, it'll actually give you a little description of your, basically what type of sound you're affecting there. Something else that was covered in a stream earlier that last week or just last week was you don't always need to add, especially this relates to EQ. You don't always need to add uh, basically volume to a certain level. You can also decrease. So, for example, if you want more clarity, well, you might actually go ahead and then decrease some of the other, like the room sound by just a tad, that area, or you might decrease the higher frequencies to let your voice stand out a little bit. You don't always need to add more volume. Sometimes taking away certain frequencies actually gives you more clarity. In fact, a big way that you can do this is with things like low cut or removing lower, like sub bass and rumble, because that stuff will typically it doesn't sound great to your viewers. Most headphones and mics, or rather like AirPods, whatever, can't play that back anyways. Right, something at like 80 hertz, that's going to be pretty tough. So you might as well take that out actually, so that way there's more a bandwidth, but also just the sound is less muddy going through. So that's my recommendation for equalizer. The rest of these, I mean, expander, voice tune, if you have a Wave Next device, or some of the other effects like compressor, start with a light touch and then go from there. Just keep it simple because in the end, what you really want, the best audio basically is if someone says, wow, your mic sounds great. I didn't like it sounds like you're not even using any effects. That's when you've hit the sweet spot. If someone goes into your content and goes, "Man, your, voice is way too boomy or it's way too, there's too much sibilance, whatever." Then maybe you've overdone it. But if someone just says like, "Dang, your mic sounds good." Like, awesome. Yeah, because it's kind of like an invisible tweak at that point. So hopefully that answers the question. I know that's not like an in-depth walkthrough. We'll do one of those as well. I believe we actually have a video up, and then we are also going to be making more written and video content on exactly that type of yeah, that topic.
Awesome. Mail time. It's mail time.
It's what?
We have a letter we've received. This one's not
Like
in
a
chat.
genuine letter?
No, I wish though. That'd be awesome.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
next time. We have a question from Chris, the tech director. Hello, Chris. Who asks, can the onboard DSPs have an effect on the software VSTs? Should I disable certain audio effects when using fun software VST?
Well, yes. So, and we also talked about this when we had, I think it was Dominic on to talk about Wave 3 and Wave XLR. If you have a Wave Next device, so Wave 3 Mark II or an XLR dock, these hardware effects are all about making your voice sound better. These are not going to be creative effects. So, for example, the low cut filter removes a little bit of that rumble. The expander kind of pushes down background noise. Voice tune just gives you a little bit more presence and kind of oomph in your sound. A little bit gets in that podcast range, right? That's what kind of a lot of folks out there is like. That's what you want to have, that sound. Um, Actually, if you have voice tune on, leave compressor off because voice tune has a built-in compressor already. And so once your audio sounds really good here, then you can go ahead and even, add things like voice focus on top of it if you want to. Or in most cases with the Wave Next device, you'll actually be okay with without voice focus. And now you can start adding even more VSTs on top that are creative. Like you could add again, a voice changer. You could add something where you're adding more reverb or you're, sounding like a demon or something like that. Those are your software effects. But you have a Wave Next device like a Mark II, definitely mess with and use the hardware effects first because those are also real time, low latency. You can hear those in your headphones without delay. They're awesome.
Um, all right. Then we have a quick question from Zavis who asks, is this stream going to be posted on YouTube? Yes, the stream and VODs are on YouTube and Twitch. So you can definitely revisit, go back, learn more. And then also the video that Phil recorded earlier will be on our YouTube. Speaking of which, make sure to follow our Twitch because you will need to be following in order to enter our giveaway later. But we're also really close to 50,000 followers. It's like we're inching there. And I would love to hit it by the end of this week for Wave Next. Maybe we can discuss after the stream. Maybe there could be something special that happens if we hit that during this week.
50K followers.
That's huge. That's
That
such
is
an
that
awesome
is pretty
achievement. So
awesome.
make sure
Yeah.
to do that. But also while you're at it, follow all of our social medias. Join our Discord. Head over to our Reddit. Follow our LinkedIn if you like that. I'm sure you got lots to say over there on our LinkedIn. Specifically, this audience that's the joke I'm making. We're gamers. I'm a gamer. Are you a gamer?
Lately, it feels like no, not as much anymore.
No?
But mostly because of this launch, because we've been so focused on this launch.
Yeah.
Uh,
But you saw that poll earlier.
I
A
did
lot
see
of
the
a lot of
poll
gamers.
earlier.
A
Yeah.
lot of gamers in chat. Makes sense.
Which, by the way, that's one really cool way that you can use Wavelink. You can apply an EQ to your game, and then especially if you're playing something like Arc or Tarkov or heck, Marathon, right? You can actually boost that footstep sound a little bit. Look at the frequency of the footstep sounds, and then bump that up, and well, it might give you a little bit of an advantage over other folks. So,
Do you want to maybe, we've gone through a lot of questions, maybe take a pause from the questions and talk about routing your games in Wavelink?
yeah,
Since we did have a lot of people mention that that's how they're either using or planning to use Wavelink 3.0.
let's do that.
Okay. Do you need some time to get a game set up? I can talk to chat in the meantime.
I
Got
think
this.
we'll actually we can just go in here and I showed the game routing earlier, but we'll just start kind of fresh here, right? So let's say we have I'm gonna just kind of tweak Wavelink to be more of a what we personal mix, stream mix. We'll go ahead and get that in the chat, blah blah blah. There we go. Cool. Okay, so we've got a pretty good setup right now, of course. So how does it work with games? Well, again, with games, what you can do is you can do one of two ways. You can either add an empty channel that's just called game, and then go into that channel and route all your apps in there, right? So if I type in like Hades, if I type in what is it, Helldivers, those will now play through the game channel, and now I can take that channel and I can add it to all of my different mixes that I want to. I can then go ahead and add things like effects on there as well. So if I wanted that EQ, I could go in here, add that EQ, maybe bump up those footstep sounds by just a little bit, and there we go. So that's how games work. There's a second way that you can do this where you can actually start with the game itself. So for example, let's say, again, you've got kind of a fresh setup here. You can simply go to add channel. You could type in like Valorant or find it. There you go. Now I'm only routing Valorant. But of course, again, typically we play more than one game out there. So I can go into the channel settings and then simply add the rest of my games in there. To then make it easier to kind of keep track of everything, I might as well just rename this back to games. And what's cool is, it'll show the different icons of the apps that you have added in there, and also how many you have. So that's how you would add games into Wavelink. It's quite simple. You just simply, you can add a virtual channel, route your games in there. What's cool too is you can do all of this, of course, before you even launch the game, right? So all you have to do is install it. You don't even have to launch the game yet. So if you know you're going to stream something or record something, then you can add it in there beforehand. Let's say you download a game and you're in the middle of, again, a live stream and a recording, and you want to add it. Of course, you can do it via the Wavelink UI here. Stream Deck can do it as well, though. And this one's pretty cool. So if we head over to Stream Deck here, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new key. And I'm going to add this. You see here, it's called Add to Channel. That's the action name. I'm going to move this onto this key here. And what this does, this key here, if I go down into the property inspector, I can simply choose a channel. So for example, games here. And now any app that's in the foreground, if I tap that key, that app is going to be routed into the games channel. I hope you guys are following me on that, right? So I launch a new game. It's going through system or some other output. I'm like, but I want it in the games channel. Just tap the Stream Deck key, and boom, it gets routed to the games channel. Really makes it quite simple. This gets pretty powerful though when you do something like on a Stream Deck Plus with dials or Stream Deck Plus XL. You could do a action wheel. So if we go in here and we now take multiple of these, right, because there's multiple channels, you can do add channel 1, 2, and let's say 3. The one channel is going to be SFX. One channel is going to be games, and then maybe one channel is simply going to be system. That's fine. Now I can go out and on a single dial, I can now rotate that dial and choose the channel that I want to route the game to, or route the app to, and then simply press the dial like that, and now it'll be routed there. So a single dial can now route all of your different applications to all the different channels that you've made in Wavelink. It's really cool. So that's games with Wavelink. There is one more thing, which is, and actually somebody requested this on Twitter. Uh, some games will offer the ability to take things like local chat or party chat and output that to a different device if you want to. You can do that as well, right? So let's say I think it was Marathon that it was specifically requested for. But essentially, you could do something like, let's take this Discord channel here. I'm actually just going to call this chat, right? Like chat. So this is the chat channel. Anything related to friends, meetings, whatever is going to go through there. I don't have Marathon installed, but what you would essentially do in Marathon is you go in and you set your voice chat output to the chat app or to the chat channel. So the game goes through your game channel and the chat goes through the chat channel. Now you can individually mute and adjust the levels, or even if you just want to record it, right? Like let's say you want to record each session and then have those in, have the voice in the game in separate tracks because maybe you want to include voice, maybe you want to cut it out. Maybe your friend said something so offensive that you're like, whoa, I don't think I can post this. Well, you can simply use Wavelink to kind of separate those out, and then in editing later, um, you know, take out the bits that you don't want. So that's another very powerful way of using Wavelink, is just simply splitting out your audio. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's another video we'll have to do at some point, is show how that works with like OBS and doing like multi-channel, multi-track capture.
Mm-hmm. Mural specifically, that wait, footsteps? Do you have any advice on where they can get started about, enhancing those footsteps in their games?
A quick Google is always a good idea because, in fact, I believe some creators have made content around this, on what those frequency ranges are. But yeah, it's just super simple. You can go into your games channel, go into effects, and then add effect. And then we at Elgato have made a free equalizer. You can also get other ones, but of course there's ours. You just Elgato EQ, you add that. And now, of course, what you want to do, because you don't want all your game audio to be affected, you just want that specific frequency. So just make sure you turn off, basically now there's nothing being done to the audio. It's staying the same. What you could do here is like, okay, I know that footsteps are in maybe like the 200 hertz range. So you're just going to go ahead and bump that up. If you want to make sure that not too much volume, or basically not too many frequencies, are affected, as you're clicking and holding here, you can also scroll on your scroll wheel and you can change the slope, or basically how many frequencies are affected. You see that? So if you're very sure that footsteps are in that like 200 hertz range, well, you can like shrink this down so that way you don't have like too much other audio affected. Or if it's, if you want a larger frequency range affected, then you can go ahead and just, make that a little bit wider there. So you have tons of control with our equalizer plugin.
Awesome. I actually did not know that scroll wheel thing, so I am
Yeah.
also learning here. That's awesome. Hold on, my jaw dropped looking for it on the floor. I hope you find it.
I think I
Oh, you
saw it
found
like
it?
somewhere over there. You might want to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's right
Oh,
there.
it's over there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
Just grab it from there,
Yeah.
and then and then after that, you can go ahead and set up your equalizer for your games. Cool. All right. Got another question here. Got a few questions, so to talk.
Just keep them coming. That's what we're doing today.
Yep. So I'm going to bring this one up, but I think just generally talking about this, we'll address more of them. Is there any plans to incorporate dual PC support? But at the same time, people are just generally asking about dual PC, Wavelink, how to use it. Yep.
So there are multiple ways that you can obviously set up multiple PCs, right? There's different configurations there. You can use Wavelink in a dual PC setup. There's, again, multiple ways of doing this. Not going to go into detail on all of them, but just a high level look. So one, you can install Wavelink 3.0 on your gaming PC. And what you can then do is you can use this to split the audio to your headphones and to, say, a capture card that you're sending, that's in the streaming PC. The way you would do that is, let's say you take your stream mix here, and you want this to go to, or rather, you want your personal mix to go to the streaming PC. We can just go in here. Obviously, you're listening to it. In this case, I'll actually just add the Wave 3 Mark II. These are your headphones. Now I could go in here and I could select another one like Camlink Pro right here. And now the personal mix is going to play out through both of those. If I do this, I think it's going to actually have the mic on there. So I'm just going to mute this for a second just to make sure. But yeah, essentially now you have two hardware outputs. One is your headphones and one is your capture card that's in the stream PC, right? That's one way you can do it. The other way is you can use, if you're not using a capture card, is you can use our Wavecast application. So Wavecast is an app that we launched a couple months ago. Wavecast. And basically what this does is it's an app that you run on both computers and you can send, excuse me, you can send audio from one PC to another over your network. And right now, this sends basically one channel of audio this way and one the other way. So that way you can send like a microphone back if you want to from your streaming PC to the gaming PC to talk in game. This could also just send a Wavelink mix, right? If you think about it, you're just taking Wavelink maybe on your gaming PC, you're bundling it all together, and then you're using Wavecast to send it over to your streaming PC. And then on the streaming PC, you could add Wavecast as an input into Wavelink. Um, Again, it gets kind of complicated. I'm not going to go super in depth there, but that's another way to use it. The final thing is that we actually announced Wave XLR Pro. So both of these solutions I talked about before were basically software related. Wave XLR Pro is our new audio mixer that's specifically built for things like dual PC streaming. So if you want low latency mixing of two computers or even more, thanks to multiple inputs, if you want wave effects processing, you want real time audio, then I would highly encourage you to check out Elgato Wave XLR Pro, which is just announced. It's not quite out yet, but this thing it's the most powerful audio device that we've ever made. And essentially with this, you have a ton of inputs and outputs. If we look at the setup here, so this is a dual PC setup here. This is what it looks like. You have a headphone output on the front, a headphone output on the back. You have two USB connections. Both are USB-C, one for your streaming PC, one for the gaming PC. You have two XLR connections. So this is perfect for dual PC. If you're looking for that kind of all-in-one solution that just takes everything, all your audio sources, mixes them together in real time, and then sends them back out. So
Awesome.
that's Wave. I guess that's, yeah, dual PC and Wavelink.
Briano asks, can they connect two Wave XLR Mark IIs to the same Windows 11 PC?
You can. Yep. So that's a change that is also new in Wavelink 3.0 is you can add up to 4 Wave devices in here if you want to at the same time. Actually, it could be technically 12. 4 is just you can do 8 software channels and 4 Wave devices. You replace those software channels with Wave devices. You could do 12 Wave devices. I don't know what you would do with that, but if you really wanted to, you could.
Okay. Ba-ba-bam. Next question is from Marku. How do you set up without an Elgato mic? This is something they haven't seen covered.
It's actually quite easy. I'll go ahead and just disconnect the Wave 3 again. And I'll go ahead and remove it. Basically, what it would look like if you are just setting up Wavelink without a Wave device, this is kind of what it would look like here. So you would start with your system. You would have maybe 1 or 2 mixes in there, and that's it. So now you would go in and then add your mic. Again, it could be a Blue Yeti, it could be your laptop mic, it could be a HyperX, could be Razer, doesn't matter. We support them all. So you just go in here and now you just add your mic. And then you can select a mix if you do want to listen to it. You can go ahead and select like a personal mix. You can then add it to your stream mix. You can then add the software effects on there. So that's it. Of course, what you don't get are all those benefits of a Wave device. So there's not that walkthrough to make sure that you get audio in, that you're getting audio out, that all your effects are active, etc. You don't get voice focus as part of that, so you would need to then add it separately. But it's as simple as just selecting your mic input right in here.
Okay. Another question we have a lot of is relates to Discord. So I'll bring up three of them, and
Okay.
then I think you can generally just talk about Discord. Cody asks, why is there no separate microphone channel with effects like in Wavelink 2.0? How do they add a microphone to Discord? Um, then we have, Cons asking, what do they select inside Discord when asked what mic to pick and they want the effects applied to their Wave 3? So, yeah, just generally, how do you route it to Discord? Um,
Sure. So I'll start here kind of from the beginning again, by and remove a couple mixes here, and I think I'm doing things a little too quickly. Let me just go ahead and restart Wavelink. Actually, yeah, we'll just do that. Oh, the entire system. I think I'm doing too much plugging in, unplugging. Let's see here. All right. So specifically with Discord, and we also have Discord on the system. So let me go ahead and fire that up. Okay. So we'll go into mixes here. Discord was having an outage, but all right. Okay. So you've got your system, you've got your Wave device, and let's say you upgrade it from Wavelink 2.0. This is what you're going to see here. With Wavelink 2.0, the wave effects mix, or basically the wave microphone effects mix, was made for you. Like you didn't have an option, it was just made for you. In Wavelink 3.0, because you can actually create up to 5 mixes, and oh, okay, apparently it doesn't like me deleting mixes today. Oh, did that work? No, I might have to restart again. Okay, that's fine. We are pushing it quite hard, going through all of these different configurations. I don't know if that's a realistic end task. We'll just do that again. Bear with me, chat. We'll be right back. No. Let's see. I'm going to turn this guy off here.
I'll answer a quick question from Shibumi while you do that. They say that you understand that you can purchase voice focus for any mic now as a standalone VST, which they think is awesome. But do you still get it for free with an Elgato mic? Yes, you
You
still
do.
get it with your Elgato mic, or if you have like Wave XLR or Wave XLR Mark II, you get it. XLR dock for Stream Deck Plus. If you get that XLR dock or XLR dock Mark II, you also get it. So yes, you still get it with the hardware to apply on that hardware device. But if you want to apply it anywhere else, you will need to buy the standalone VST. And also, we're giving away 3 of them today. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stay tuned.
Hmm?
3 codes for voice focus later today.
Okay, so we've got Wavelink up and running, and you want to bring your mic and mic effects into Discord. With Wavelink 3.0, you simply make a mix that you can title yourself and then bring that into Discord. For example, I'll create a new mix here, and it's called Chat Mix. In fact, I could just leave it like that because that already is, pretty clear. And I'll add the mic into it, and then maybe we'll also add Stream Deck, right? Because I want like a soundboard in there. I'll add that to the personal mix and the chat mix. Now all I have to do in Discord is go in here, go to the settings, go to voice and video, and then under microphone, simply select chat mix. There we go. And now if I actually were to test that, you see the mic is coming through. Test, test, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? It's as simple as that. If you want it to be just, for your own sake, closer to Wavelink 2 with the name, well, that's fine. You can literally just rename this to like, I keep calling wave effects, like microphone effects, right? There we go. Now it'll be renamed, and it might take a second or two, but once you go back into Discord, it will then have a new name there. Yeah, it does take a second to update. But essentially, yeah, that's how you do it. It's really simple. The big difference is that it's just not made for you right off the bat. You just have to either take a mix that you already have in there or just make a new one and add that into Discord. So, and then routing Discord is also quite easy, right? If you want Discord inside of Wavelink, you can just simply select Discord here, and then maybe add it to your personal mix. Of course, don't add it to your mic effects because you don't want it creating that audio loop.
Yep. Freddie asked, and you have two mics connected, so that would be their main mic and their headset mic.
Absolutely. I mean, if we take a look at the setup here, I don't exactly have a headset, but I've got a Wave 3, and I can just add a another mic. Boom! Now I've got two mics. It works the same way with your headset. You just add your headset mic in here as well, and then you can control the levels. You can control the effects that are on it. You can choose which outputs or mixes it goes to. So, yep.
Okay. Anil mentions, so we get Wavelength 3.0 if we bought Stream Deck. Can we get the camera of both of us for this one? Phil, how do you get Wavelength 3.0? What do you need to unlock it, to buy it? Like, how do you get Wavelength 3.0?
That's a great question. You don't need to buy a Stream Deck or an Elgato Wave device. Yes, you can download Wavelink 3.0 right now from Elgato.com and use it
Right now.
right now.
Yeah.
That's no joke. For
Let's
free.
throw those links in the chat so they can get it. It is free. The big thing with Wavelength 3.0 is unlocking it for everybody, so you no longer need a supported hardware device to unlock the software. So yeah, we hope that you guys are all having fun with Wavelength 3.0. This is also why you may see a lot of buzz around the software, because now everybody has access to it. So a lot of new users joining us this past week. Thank you guys so much for trying it out and joining. We're not joining the Wavelength 3.0 family. That's where my brain went. It doesn't make any sense. Thank you for adding Wavelength 3.0 to your setup. That makes so much more sense.
Let's all get Wave linked in 3.0 together. Let's all get linked in Wave together. That's bad. That's bad. It's only Monday, folks. We got 4 more days of this, or 3 more days.
Getting to know how to use it since yesterday. They already got it. That's awesome. We are getting linked. Okay.
LinkedIn, locked in. That's
whoa.
All right, Lexi. I mean, she was a marketing intern, so gotta,
Hi,
you could be
Lexi.
proud of that one.
I'm so proud. I'm always so proud of Lexi.
Yeah. So no, I mean, in all seriousness, download Wavelength 3.0, try it out. If it's for you, awesome. If it's not, well, hey, no pain, no gain. No sweat, because you simply just stop using it, and that's simple.
Yep. How do they get the new Wavelength plugins for Stream Deck? That's actually a great question, because with Wavelength 3.0 comes a update to the Wavelength plugin for Stream Deck. This one you're going to want to download fresh, because it's totally reimagined. It's so beautiful and new. So if you do have a Stream Deck and you just downloaded Wavelength 3.0, you definitely want to make sure that you get the Wavelength 3.0 Stream Deck plugin. Try saying that 10 times fast. You want to show them that on Marketplace?
Yeah, let's do it. So of course, with Stream Deck here, we'll go in and the fastest way to access Marketplace. Well, actually, there's a new little secret, but we'll check it out here first. You can click on the Marketplace icon here. It'll go ahead and open up Marketplace, and then you can search here just for Wavelink. And what you'll see now is when you search, there's gonna be 2 plugins. The first one, this Wavelink Legacy, this is the Wavelink 2.0 plugin. This is the one that you're probably be familiar with right now. We're not updating this one anymore. It will continue to work with Wavelink 2.0. For Wavelink 3.0, we've built an entirely new plugin, though. It's got an entirely reimagined look, new features, new functionality. It's very powerful, and this is what you'll need to install to use with Wavelink 3.0. Of course, when you update to Wavelink 3.0 and you've got the plugin installed, it kind of sucks because, well, you might have all these actions that you've already configured, and now they have some question marks. And like, oh, I need to, I want to get up and running quickly. Well, in Wavelink 3.0, we have this export to Stream Deck function here. So in Wavelink, you can click up here, choose your model of Stream Deck. So in this case, I've got a Stream Deck Plus XL. Choose which mixes you want to include, and simply hit Start Export. And what will happen is, on Stream Deck, it'll then bring up this menu about which device you want to import the profile to. And just hit Install, and boom. Within literally a matter of seconds, it takes all of your mixes, all of your channels that you've got in Wavelink, and puts them onto Stream Deck. Of course, if you have more mixes and more channels, it's going to, configure those and add even more there. But the beauty is now you can go ahead and change and move these around, do whatever you want with them. But this gets you up and running really, really quickly. So this is a part of that new Wavelink 3.0 plugin as well. So you can see there I'm talking now. It's added my different inputs here. It's added the different channels at the bottom here with those inputs as well. It's added headphone volume. So there's lots of stuff that's pre-configured for you. So
Doc Cloud asked, does exporting work for Stream Deck XL or Stream Deck or Mini?
it does, yeah. So it'll actually depend on the device that you have here, what you see. So here you see it says Stream Deck Plus, Stream Deck Plus XL. That's because these are the ones that I've had connected. Depending on which device you have connected, it will show you different options here. So you just select the one. You could also select a different one, as in if it does show you a different option. Like I could just go Stream Deck, but what it'll do is it'll basically assume I'm using like the 15 key version, and it'll create the profile for that. Now, of course, I could put it on the Stream Deck Plus XL, but I want to make sure to utilize all of the dial functionality there as well. Now, I mentioned earlier that there was a little tip about, finding the plugin. So check this out. You can, of course, always access Marketplace in Stream Deck by going to the Marketplace, here and clicking on this, and it'll take you to your default browser and open Marketplace. A somewhat recent-ish update to Stream Deck added search and install right inside of Stream Deck, though. Check this out. You're on the action list over here. You've got keys, dials, and then you have plugins. And what you can do here is simply type in like Wavelink, and as long as you're logged in here, you can simply hit get and it'll install it for you. You can see here there's other plugins and it's super fast, super easy. It's built right into Stream Deck at this point. So just search for the plugin that you want and hit get and you'll be good to go.
We have another mail time. It's mail time, but this time it's from me.
Oh, okay.
Can you show them? Because I know we've had questions when you bring something automatically to Stream Deck, right? So you have your canvas there, but now you're like, oh, but I wanted this to be a folder, in my main profile. You maybe show them how to kind of fake a folder with a profile change, because I know that when I've shown that in streams before, everybody loves that. So maybe just show like a different profile, that's your main one, and then how to make that link and go back and forth. Yay.
Yeah, so actually this one's called Wavelink Copy, but if we go to our default profile here, which look at how beautiful that looks. It's got some creators on there. It's got a lot of, this is basically the profile you get when you first plug in your Stream Deck Plus XL. What you could do here is, I don't know, I'm just gonna delete this key right here. And instead, I'm going to make a profile switch action. So for example, I could do switch profile, and then I want to go to a specific one, and then we'll go to the first page. Now, when I tap this key, I'm going to go to that profile. Now, what I could do is actually in the same position. That way, it's like kind of muscle memory. I could do another one, switch profile, and we'll go back to default, and we'll go to the home page here. Now, if I tap it, it goes back to it. So that's a really cool way that you can just very quickly go to, oh, I need audio controls. I'm going to go there. And of course, now you can do things like swipe pages if you want to, all of that. Another really cool thing is, so you saw me swipe with the pages, right? But when you swipe pages, the key disappears. So something that we also added a couple months ago, you can now pin actions. So I can right click here, I can click pin, and now it doesn't matter which page I go to. That key and that action is going to stay in that same position. And so no matter what page I'm on, I can simply tap it and I always go back to the home profile. So that makes it very simple to navigate your Stream Deck and your different profiles.
Perfect. Right.
Great question, Burrito. How did you know to ask that?
Oh, thanks. I'm trying my best over here. Got good questions supporting chat. Another question from Fleet. Can you export it to Stream Deck Mobile? I believe for that, if you just export it to like a normal like 15 key Stream Deck setup, you can just have that on mobile and
exactly
adjust it.
Yeah.
So if you have the Pro version, you have all those keys, you can customize that.
Yep.
Maybe somebody can get us an answer on if there's a proper export. But I believe since the keys are so variable compared to our hardware Stream Decks, that might not be an option.
I also don't know if I'm able to, because with Wi-Fi and everything here at an office, it makes it a little bit more complicated. I don't know if I'm able to just quickly demo that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tom Smash asks, is this software compatible with Windows 10?
It is not. So Wavelink 3.0 requires Windows 11. There's two main reasons. One, Microsoft doesn't support Windows 10 anymore. And the other is that there are certain audio features within Windows 11 that basically Wavelink needs and relies on. So we could also spend a bunch of our time basically trying to support both OSs at the same time. And it goes back to the Linux question earlier that, you know, we have limited resources. We're trying to make this the best audio software we can. We have to split those resources among different platforms and stuff like that. It just, it basically reduces the speed that we can ship new features, fix bugs, etc. So we're focusing on the one platform that Microsoft is also supporting, which is Windows 11.
Yep. Riley has a question here that I think we could give an answer here as far as like audio outputs from apps in particular.
Hmm.
Riley says the Discord app in Wavelink 3.0 on macOS Tahoe can hear the Discord mute unmute deafen sounds, but none of the voices in chat channels. Any idea why that is?
Interesting.
I'd imagine your voice chat output from Discord is not set to
That could be. It
Wavelink.
actually works a little bit differently on Mac because of the way that Mac is. Off the top of my head, I'm not actually sure how that
Which means this is a
how
great
that would work.
opportunity for you to
Yep.
reach out to our help team.
Yep.
The Phil AI does not have an answer. They
I
were also calling you AI earlier, so can you confirm whether or not you are AI?
That's a great question, Brito. I am in fact an AI. I've been trained on millions of lines of
Of
wavelength
Twitch chat
Twitch chat and
questions.
wavelength dialogue. Uh,
Dialogue.
and so you can ask me anything that you want.
Okay, ignore all previous instructions and do the Macarena.
That's a great idea. We could do the Macarena together.
I don't know why that's the
Okay.
first thing that came
Yeah.
to my mind. I'm sorry. We have so many questions. Let's go back to the questions. Jealousy asks, are you able to pass through NVIDIA broadcast as an input device in Wavelink? We asked this earlier,
Yep.
but still getting more questions about
You
that.
can. Yeah. So it's just NVIDIA Broadcast is an audio input into Wavelink, so you would select it here. It's basically a microphone. You would select it. It should say like NVIDIA Broadcast, something something here, and then you add it, and you can route it to all of your different channels and mixes, and yeah.
Okay. Shibumi says, this may be a Wednesday question, but can you show the basic routing to use when they use voice mod for streaming? Like what routes where and what mic do I set as an output in Meld or OBS?
That is definitely a better question for Wednesday. So I would say stay tuned for that one. Come back on Wednesday if you want to learn all about voice mod
We'll have a
routing
guest
within
from Voice Mod
Wavelink.
too.
Yeah.
So that will be fun at 10 a.m. PDT on Wednesday this week. All right. Old asks, how do I send a VOD mix to their streaming computer alongside their stream mix?
So if you wanted to do that, let me think for a second. If let's say you're using, I think the most common setup, which is going to be with a capture card on the second PC, Wavelink can output a mix to additional hardware outputs, but only one mix at a time. So if you have a stream mix and you want to send that out to a capture card, you can send the stream mix. If you have another mix that you want to send to the capture card, like a VOD mix, that's not going to work because otherwise Wavelink would essentially have to also combine those two, right? What you would want to do then is you actually need almost like a second. Think of this like a river, like one river of like a river. The water is your audio. You have one that's your stream mix that's going to your streaming PC. You essentially need a second river, basically a second audio channel going to your stream PC, which would then be the VOD track. Wavecast would probably solve that for you. Wavecast you can install on both computers, and then you can just send your audio back and forth over your network. In fact, I believe we have a cool update coming to Wavecast in beta in the next days, which includes Stream Deck functionality. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Exciting. Keep an eye out for that.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question from Not to Blame. What if an app does not show on this list? How do we add that to the game channel? Also, thank you for the bits. No need to
Oh
cheer your
yeah,
bits here. Bring them to your favorite creators.
yeah. We can't do anything with those bits. I think legally, basically. So, yeah, don't. We appreciate it though. We appreciate it. If you have a app which is playing audio and it's not showing up in Wavelink, or basically that you can't add it in here for some reason, the way you would do that is just go into the audio settings. So you could go in here, right? You can select your different outputs, and you see audio mixer. You can click on more volume settings, scroll all the way down, and then go to volume mixer. And here you'll see your different apps that are running that have played sound, and you can just manually select that. So for example, if you make a games channel, it would just show up here. You could select whatever it is that you have and just manually output it to that channel. Yeah.
Freddie asks, will you be able to customize the background on Wavelink 3.0?
Not right now. Maybe in the future, we'll see. What you can do right now is, at least on Windows, Wavelink will take on sort of the colors of your Windows theme. So, right now we've got this green theme going on here. If I go to, I think is it what, personalization? Personalize
The accent color.
themes, and then, or actually, no, it's just colors. And then I go to, you see accent color here? Move that over a little bit. And if I make this like red, look at that, or I guess that's pink. Look, now Wavelink has changed in some parts to pink.
Cute.
Or, I can make it yellow here. And now it's changed to yellow. If you go into the settings, all of your highlights have changed to yellow. So you can kind of theme it that way. It just takes on whatever. And that's, again, thanks to that, like, we're using native Windows 11 features here. It just kind of takes that on without needing to do anything, which is pretty cool. I think that was the color we used.
Yep.
Also, we totally plan on monetizing with skins and adding loot boxes, and you'll be able to pay $1.50 for crates. We're gonna have a crate marketplace.
A VST crate, a crate VST.
We're gonna do a crate. Yeah, we're gonna do crates, and you'll have different rarities and stuff like that. We're gonna do so much crazy stuff. You guys are not ready. I kid. That's a joke.
The battle pass. Yeah, Apple Freak mentioned the battle pass. I see, because Apple Freak's on our beta,
Yep.
beta, alpha, beta.
So like
version.
today's challenge is add five inputs, and then you'll unlock the next tier of battle pass, and then it keeps going.
Then there's the like
stream
say
for
blah
10
blah
hours.
blah for 3 hours.
Exactly.
Blah 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 for 3 hours is good.
We have ideas, guys. We have ideas.
You can also pay to finish the battle pass if you don't feel like doing all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
our team's
again,
working on it right now.
To be clear, that is not happening. We are not doing battle passes or loot crates or.
But April Fools could be good.
It'd be kind of funny.
All right. Yes, Wavelink 3.0 is strictly on Windows 11. Okay. Another question. Cad says if they have 2 microphones, they assume they have to add separate VSTs to each input channel mic, and they can't apply the VSTs once to the mic mix, correct?
That is correct, yeah. So for example, here I've got Wave 3, and let me just add a second mic in there. So I can go into Wavelink, or I can go into Wave 3 Mark II here, right? I could add an effect. I'll add a reverb on here. Actually, I need to go ahead and purchase that one. And then, I could go into the Blue Yeti mic, and then I could also add the reverb effect there. And it's a totally separate version, right? So it has its own settings, all of that. Keep in mind, though, I mean, since I just showed that you have to unlock the effect, if you buy a VST effect from Elgato Marketplace, you only have to unlock it once. Like, you don't have to buy it per input, right? Like, I don't have to buy it for the Wave 3, and then buy it for the Yeti, and then buy it for Discord. No. Buy it once, and then it's just unlocked for your entire system. You could even then use it in other applications like Audacity, Adobe Audition, DaVinci Resolve, right? It's a one-time unlock for paid VSTs.
Here you go, Phil. Take my card. Why don't you go ahead and buy reverb effects?
Oh, okay. Is this for Nintendo credits or what?
Something like that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, next question. Well, okay, one thing I'm seeing a lot is people asking about ducking. I think we kind of wowed everybody a little too much with the ducking demo last week. Can you talk a little bit about ducking? People were asking if we can get it as a VST, stuff like that.
Yeah, so ducking is currently a hardware feature on the Wave XLR Pro. And the reason for that is because the audio mixing on the Wave XLR Pro happens on the hardware itself, you have 0 latency audio mixing. And so the ducking can also happen in that real time. With Wavelink as a software, get audio in, then to check how loud is it, then to apply ducking to other channels. That's actually kind of a technical challenge there. So it's something that could happen. It could come. There's no guarantees on that, though. But yeah, essentially right now it's just a feature on the Wave XLR Pro. We might be able to add it to Wavelink. We'll just have to see. It would not be a VST then because, and I mean, side chaining is essentially the same thing as ducking. I mean, I know it's not exactly the same, but you know, you can connect two channels together, do stuff. That would actually then be a feature like inside of Wavelink. I don't think it would be a VST. You could, in theory, already do that if you developed your own VST, you know, because VSTs can talk to each other as well. Uh, I guess that would be pretty cool if somebody did that and then uploaded it to Marketplace. Um, but yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Simple answer is not in Wavelink today. Only on the Wave XLR Pro because it's hardware based.
We're getting a lot of questions too about, can we get an official Elgato audio sampler plugin, or, sidechain plug, like basically asking about official VST or
hmm
audio effect plugins. You maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking at new plugins to build, right? Making a plugin, of course, means that we also then have to support it and make sure it's working everywhere. So we are always looking at new ones to build, or you know, fun ones, or you know, what could be cool. Um, the We don't have any plans to do a sampler one at the moment. But again, I would challenge someone who's watching here. Maybe you could do it. In fact, you know, I vibe coded my own audio sampler VST plugin with Stream Deck control even inside of the plugin, which is pretty cool. So I'm sure it's doable. So if someone out there, one of you guys, wants to take the initiative, then by all means, you know, make it, get that up on Elgato Marketplace. I'm sure many in the audience watching here would be very excited about that. So um, yeah, you could definitely make that yourself if you wanted to.
All right. We have a question from A9. If I download the new Wavelink 3.0, will their mic settings be there, or do they have to set it up again?
They will have to set it up again. So you know, with the transition from Wavelink 2.0 to 3.0, the because of this major UI change and also some of the under the hood stuff, we currently don't have like an import functionality. When you install Wavelink 3.0, it's going to be completely, you know, it's just that first time setup and you kind of go through it. We actually think this is not a bad thing because you have to learn the program. And I don't mean like to program, I mean you have to learn Wavelink. You know, how do you add your mixes? How do you add your inputs? And this is, I think, actually a good thing because if you were to simply go from Wavelink 2.0 to 3.0, everything's transferred over. You go live and then something's not working like you want it. Now you're trying to figure out how did this even work, right? How does this new program that I just installed work? If you set it up yourself, then you learn how these new mixes work, up to 5 of them. You learn how the channels work, how you add multiple apps to a single channel, how you can add effects onto those channels. So yeah, it might take 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but I think it's it's very intuitive once you figure out mixes at the top, inputs on the left. You click on a mix, or you click on, you know, basically the channel that you want to add the mix to. It's quite simple. So that's yeah. So there's no like settings import from Wavelink 2.0 to 3.0 currently. Shallow Clone says, I just took screenshots of my VSTs from Wave 2. Yeah, there you go. There's an option there. Or maybe, you know, maybe it's a good time to just generally like look at your setup, right? Is there something you could optimize? Did you need all those VSTs previously? Maybe you just use voice focus on your Wave mic, or maybe you had your EQ, you know, you want to reevaluate because you got some new headphones. I don't know, right? There's always, think of it like spring cleaning. Let's put it that way.
All right. We have another question here from Gui, who says, why add Stream Deck to the mic FX?
For soundboard, because Stream Deck can play sounds, and it's actually the easiest way to do that. So if I go into Stream Deck here, and let me actually go over to that Wavelink profile, I could go in here, I could create a folder, and we'll just call this like SFX, like that. Go into that, and then we actually have a soundboard. These are built-in actions. So for example, you could take a couple play audios here, you just drag them on there, then you select the file. So we've got a bunch of different audios here. It could be MP3, it could be WAV, doesn't really matter. Also doesn't matter where you get them from. And, you know, you just add them in here. You can even choose how it plays. You know, do you tap a key and then just start stop? Do you tap a key and then if you play it, you know, tap it again, it plays in overlaps. Basically, you can spam it. And then you can, again, in Wavelink, either select Stream Deck in there, or you can also have it, you know, do that per action. But yeah, if I now tap this key here, okay, you guys maybe didn't hear it. Um, but yeah, it will then actually let me just go ahead and here add do Stream Deck. See? It now plays it, and then it plays it through the mic effects channel out to Discord.
Yep. Niall
Yeah.
said, "How did you change profile without clicking the drop-down menu? We had just set up a
Ah.
nice key for that."
Yeah, so there's actually right here, I have a profile switching action. So let's say I'm on the default profile. See on the bottom left here, this action goes to the Wavelink profile that we had set up. So if I tap it, it now switches to that profile. And because the action is pinned, I can also swipe between now different pages, and I can still go back to the home profile. Neural net nemesis, I heard nothing. Yeah, I didn't actually play the audio through to the stream. I don't think that was a effect that you want to hear anyways.
Yippee! That's how it went.
Yippee!
But yes,
Yeah.
when you add it on yours, it will go through. You can just add any of your, your sound effects that you have downloaded to
I
a
could
key,
play it,
and
I could
then
add it on there. Let me just add a compressor first because also a little pro tip, if you ever add a sound board to Wavelink, either through, by doing it through a browser or by doing it through Stream Deck, just add a compressor on there because, depending on where you get your sound files from, they might be a little bit loud. Um, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I don't know, do this. Then let's see. If I now take mic effects, I add that as an output to, well, actually, you're going to hear the mic, so I'm going to mute that. Where is it here? Speakers. All right. You should be able to now hear, if I tap on this key again. Did that go through? There you go.
yippee!
So, yeah, that's how you could, maybe compressor should be enabled by default. Yeah, I mean, you don't always need it, but, that's a nice way of just ensuring that, again, all your audio is just nice and balanced and nothing's going to be too loud. So, yeah.
Awesome. Don asks, "How do they make their mic mono so it only plays in one ear?"
You only want it in one ear? Or do you want it in, like, you have one that only plays in one ear and you want it in both?
I think they want to make it in one ear. They want it to be a mono output.
You could do that with, funny enough, someone on our team actually just created a VST plugin for that. So if you go to audio effects on Marketplace, I believe it's free. Uh, Monocore here. This one lets you can basically change. This is basically just a bunch of stuff about left, right, phase invert, polarity, etc. But here you can kind of force a stereo input to just be on the left or right, or if you have a input that should be playing on both the left and right but isn't, you can use this to fix that. So it's called Monocore.
Visuals are cool.
Yeah, right. It's got this like kind of almost, I guess, what cyberpunk, uh, very cyberpunk inspired theme. This is the signal reconstruction unit by Macrophone.
Phil's definitely AI confirmed now after that voice. All right.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Shibumi says, "This is kind of a different question, a little outside the box, but currently they daisy chain their Stream Deck XL and their Stream Deck Plus. Do you think they'd be able to add a Stream Deck Plus XL to that chain, or would they be better off just plugging it into their PC directly?"
I mean, the official answer is always going to be just plug it into your computer directly. If you are using a USB hub or something like that, at least make sure it's a powered one. That way,
You're
like it literally
using
has wall
the
power.
USB hub for Stream Deck Plus.
They are.
I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you have that many devices on the USB hub and it's not powered, like you're not using that PD input, I'm not going to say you will run into issues, but you might. So just keep that in mind, right? Obviously, a USB port supplies some power, but the more devices you add, especially something big like Stream Deck Plus XL, which has even more keys and the large touch display, you really want to make sure that you're using external power there as well. Even just a basic, I don't know, could be like a 30-watt, almost like phone charger brick that you get off Amazon or something. You just connect that, and that will give you that PD input for the USB devices.
Dot Cloud, we just showed adding sound effects to Stream Deck, so you may want to watch the VOD, or maybe Phil can give you another quick demo. But Doc basically asked, they're connecting Windows Audio to Stream Deck for sound effects. Are you showing us how to add sound effects directly to Stream Deck?
For adding them directly to Stream Deck, it's as simple as find the sound effect, get the file. Where you find those, I don't want to know. And you can just go in here, and then there's a play audio action. Again, you can just search in Stream Deck, or you can find it here. It's under soundboard, and then you drag play audio on there, and then you hit down here. There's a little file with a little like file picker. Just here you can go to your downloads or wherever, and then download, or basically that's how you add your audio. It could be MP3. You can see here it could be WAV, M4A, MOV, MP4. Doesn't really matter. Any sort of sound is supported, and then you have a bunch of options for does it fade in, does it fade out? How does it loop until you stop looping it? That sort of thing. There's also one stop audio action. This one's pretty good. If you've got multiple sounds that are like playing on top of each other, if you've got one looping and you're like, I just need to stop it all, just drag that stop audio action onto a key, and that will stop all audio playback.
I do like spamming my soundboard.
hmm Like I mean that one, this is play overlap. I'm gonna turn it down
Yes.
a little bit, right? But if I go now,
All right.
all right, you guys get the point, right? That's what play overlap is.
Uh, Spooky says, is it possible to add VSTs like EQ to a channel, but not all mixes? One of the guests last week mentioned adding EQ to Spotify to reduce some of the vocal range, but I'd like my personal mix to sound normal.
So at the moment, no. The effect, essentially, you can imagine it like a line going across. This is the input, and this is the effect on the input, and that effect applies to all of the mixes that you add it to. So if you were to add Spotify, and then you add the EQ on there, like so. Maybe you want to reduce a little bit in this range here. I don't know, something like that. This is now going to be applied to every mix that you add it to. Maybe that's a feature request to the team in the future to basically create a separate, uh, almost like separate paths there.
Okay. Project says, notice you can change the order of effects on my mic, for example. Does that order matter?
It does matter, absolutely. So if you have effects on software effects, then the order, I mean, just generally effects order matters. So if you have a Wave Next device, this order is fixed here. This was designed by our sound engineers for the optimal signal chain. Let's say you're using a different mic, or you're using a non-wave effects mic where you have these software effects. Yeah, you can reorder these, and essentially what you want to do is you want to do all of your like sound processing slash removal first before you add any fun effects on there. So the way that would look, and I'm just going to use the Yeti here, is you may want to add a something like a yeah, you might just want to add voice focus on here, so that cleans up your background noise. Then you add an EQ after that, and maybe even before that, if you want to make sure you sound good. And that for a compressor doesn't matter so much, but essentially here you could now add a compressor. But essentially clean up your voice first, then do sort of the post processing on it, aka your EQ. EQ, you can think a little bit of like color grading if you've done anything with photo or video, right? That's what you can do here. It's kind of shifting some stuff around. You could add your compressor after that, because that's kind of the final, like, okay, just make sure I'm not too loud or I'm not too quiet. So your effect chain order absolutely matters. Yeah.
Um, Back to the idea of upgrading from 2.0 to 3.0. Oh, what? That's the wrong question. Jron asks, will we have to go into percent app data percent Windows or into the folders for Mac to delete and delete the Wavelink 2.0 folder for the update?
You shouldn't need to, as long as you drag the Wavelink 2.0 application into the trash from your applications folder. macOS should handle the rest, right? That's like kind of how you uninstall it on macOS. It should handle the rest. Yeah.
A new question just came in with the WaveNext Mark II devices, is there any built-in hardware effects that would act as a de-esser, or would we need to add that on as a software effect?
There's no purpose-built de-esser in there, but what essentially can act like a de-esser is the expander together with the EQ. So the expander, this reduces essentially when you're below a certain level, it pushes down the audio even more. So this would work a little bit like a de-esser. Again, it's not the same thing. I know that. I'm just simply saying, like, if you want to, get in that direction, you can use this because it will actually um, kind of smooth out some of that sibilance due to the way that an expander works. And then if you add an EQ on there as well here, and you just simply, EQ down a little bit of those higher frequencies or even those, the ones that are in that sibilance range, like this, then that will help with that as well. If you need an actual de-esser, excuse me, we do have that as well on Elgato Marketplace. In fact, it doesn't look like I have it downloaded, but we can just check that out quickly. Go to Marketplace, audio effects, and then it is there. There it is. I believe it's free actually. So you can add that in there. It's super low latency, and this will do de-essing for you.
And you have VST insert too, right? Because you have a
Absolutely. Yeah.
WaveNext Mark II device.
Yep. So you get all the benefits of VST insert, which would make this effect actually one that you could totally monitor because it's so low latency.
Yep. Jan mentioned that dragging to the trash did not work for them
Oh,
for Mac
okay.
OS. But yeah,
Maybe make sure the app is closed fully when you're doing that.
yeah.
Otherwise, again, reach out to our support team. They can help you out there.
SideQuest asks, will we get a notification if VSTs we've used before can't be imported into Wavelink 3.0? For instance, will something like D-Gate still work in Wavelink 3.0?
D-Gate will still work, but that's a great point to bring up. With Wavelink 2.0, you probably set like a VST3 and a VST2 location. You'll need to reset that VST2 location. VST3, at least on Windows, and AUs on Mac, that's standardized. They're always in the same spot here. They always go into VST3. VST2, I believe D-Gate is a VST2. Those don't install in like a standard location. So you just have to go into Wavelink here, VST2 folder, hit change, and then select the folder where you put them all into. I do suggest gathering them in one place. And then you just hit check for plugins and they'll all reappear for you.
And then we followed up my last question. Will mic in have VST applied?
Mic in.
So that if you use VST insert, it would.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
a Wave Next device.
So if you're using a Wave 3 Mark II or a Wave XLR Mark II, you add any effects on here, like these software effects, like a reverb, for example, here, or voice focus. These effects are in that hardware essentially input. So for example, if I now go back into Discord and I click on voice and video, I can actually just select mic in Wave 3 Mark II, and voice focus and reverb are going to be active. That's the beauty of this VST insert tech that we have on our WaveNext devices. You don't need to use mic effects anymore, or basically create another channel.
This op asks, is it necessary to create a mix for return audio, having the option to enable listening by mix? Early YouTube videos from creators during the beta suggested this, but thinking about it, it might not make sense anymore.
Is it to create a mix for return audio? Having the option to enable listening by mic?
By mix.
Oh, by mix? If I'm understanding it correctly, I mean, you can do that, right? So you can have up to 5 mixes, and you can simply, again, if I'm understanding this correctly, you can just toggle between whichever mix you want to listen to. So you can quickly use this to check if your stream mix sounds good, but you want to go back to your personal mix because maybe you take your mic out there, you don't want monitoring, or something else. But again, I hope I'm understanding this correctly, but yeah, you can just toggle between them quickly. Yeah.
Would you like to do any demos or more questions?
I maybe we could do one demo.
Yep.
For those of you who are watching and are thinking, wow, Wavelink is really cool. It's kind of complicated though. All I want to do is like just, I don't know, increase the sound, like basically make my mic sound better. You can totally do that with Wavelink. That's really the beauty. Because you have so many options with these mixes and with these channels, you don't need to do all of this mixing and routing that we're showing here. You can simply use it basically for audio processing. And the way that works is it's also really quite simple. Just remove all of your other, uh, remove basically everything except the mic that you want to process. In this case, I'll have the Wave 3 here. But if all you want to do is, again, let's say you hop in meetings all day, or you just, you want to sound better in Discord, but again, you don't want to do the audio routing, that's totally cool. Just add your mic in here, add your software effects in there, and then you could even just go in and basically just make, one mix. You could literally, you could call this like, I don't know, uh, wave mic. And then within, you don't even need to listen to it, right? You can unmonitor it. You can remove all the outputs. I mean, this is literally the simplest way of using Wavelink right here. Check that out. All you have is one mic, one output, and you can do all your audio effects on here. And then again, in something like Discord, you could then just select your, in this case, it would be, where is it? Oh, I don't think it's renamed yet, but essentially you would just have that one. Yeah, it's this one here, personal mix, right? Test, test, test. Yep, there it is. So you essentially have only one mic. You're not using any of the routing, and you're good to go there. So that's one way to use Wavelink. You can basically ignore 99% of the features it has and just go with just effects for meetings. Exactly. Or again, if you want to make it super simple and you want to add a soundboard on there, you could add Stream Deck, or you could use a soundboard that's on a website. Again, same thing, just route it in there. Boom, that's it. Right? You don't even need to listen to it if you don't want to. Super simple. And this is really the beauty of Wavelink 3.0, is that you can make it as complex or as easy as you want it. And it works across so many different use cases out there. If all you want to do is hop on a call and sound good, boom, do that. If you want to route all your games and record separate, mixes for your game and for your chat and music, you can do that. If you want to bundle it all for streaming, you can do that. If you want to do two mics because you're doing a podcast, you can do that. Uh, all this flexibility is it's very powerful, and that's the challenge for us here, is how do we make that easy to use and understandable, and how do we show that to you? That's
That
the demo.
asks, what quality of life changes are currently planned for Wavelink 3.0 that they miss some things like minimize app on close profiles, etc.
The app should already minimize on close, as in it shouldn't actually close it. Like if I go like this, Wavelink is still running in the background. Um, we of course have our compact mode, which this one, I showed it earlier, but that's if you just want, a very compact version. In fact, this is really nice for specifically this layout where it's like all you have is your mic and you just want to change some levels. We didn't get to this on Friday, but can I show the thing that Yannick showed us?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So obviously we have mixes here, right? We have many different mixes and we have many inputs into those mixes. It can be quite hard to follow where everything is going if you're not, doing this audio stuff all the time, right? You have all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Our team has been thinking hard about this, and what you're about to see are just some proof of concept and ideas. This is not guaranteed to come to Wavelink. This is simply ideas of ways that we can make it easier to work with your audio. So I think this is one of them. So this is one thing that we've been thinking about as another way of checking out your audio. This would be another view within your mix, or basically you could, go down here and click on audio flow. And what you can do here is, again, this is just the idea. I'm not saying it's coming. You click on a specific input and it shows you where it's all routed into and out of. So it's like, oh, my Wave 3 mic is going into the mic channel. It's going into 3 mixes, and those mixes are going out to those headphones, or, those outputs. Or I want to go to system audio or Spotify, right? Or if I click on headphones here, what is going into my headphones? Oh, okay, everything is going into headphones. Or, my chat mix. Okay, only the Wave 3 is going into chat mix, right? So this is one idea of how this could look. And ideally, it kind of just it's a little bit easier to visualize than, okay, I want my audio or my audio is going from left to right, and you can just click through. And even at first glance, obviously there's a lot of information here, but again, as you click on something, you'll see everything that's kind of going around, everything that's happening here. There's also some other ideas we have around like, oh, is the, something muted or unmuted, or is something being, too quiet, too loud? So that's one idea. Again, I'm not saying that's coming. I also am not. There's no timeline to this. This is simply us exploring different ways that we can make it easier to check out your audio. That's one, and then the other one is, and this is also kind of what we're looking at some stuff, is this idea of like a almost like a podcast helper. So for example, if you do a lot of talking, or in the case of Brito and I, if we're constantly talking over each other, essentially what this would do is this would tell you how much you're talking, how much your guest or other people are talking, if you're overlapping, something like that. Uh, this is another idea that we're kind of messing around with. Like, okay, I'm talking more than the other person. The other person is now talking. The words per minute. Some of us talk very quickly. Some of us talk a little bit. Yeah, a Yap Tracker. That's the perfect name. I think that's the official name, Yap Tracker.
Yeah, write it down.
Something like that, right? Your speech clarity. So we're and obviously there's other stuff here that you can see, which we're not going to dig into. Trust us, guys. This is we're just at the beginning of Wavelink here. This is just the beginning here of what we're doing. We wanted to get it out to you so you can use it. And now we're taking in all of these ideas, all of these explorations, all of your feedback, and we're going to look at how do we make it easier to use, and also not just easier to use, but what features could we add that essentially make your workflow better, that help you improve as a creator, help you improve as a meeting presenter, right? What are things in audio? Because frankly, routing audio and processing audio, yeah, okay, sure, it can do that now,
Sure.
right? Sure, it's there, it can do it. But what more could we do here? So,
I mean,
yeah.
the Wavelink you installed in 2020 is completely different than the Wavelink you have now. It's so much more feature rich now. We've just really streamlined your audio routing process, as well as adding effects and so much more. So yeah, to answer that question, long answer to that question, we are not just, releasing Wavelink 3.0 and taking a nap, although I'm sure some of the devs took a nap that launch day, a very well-earned nap, because they've been working on this for a while. But now after that nap, they're back to working on new features, updates, to fix some of the bugs you guys may be experiencing on this first, full release, which you have to consider a lot of new people are using Wavelink for the first time. So we're learning so much. So yeah, we will be, continuously pushing updates to the software. We've been doing it for 6 years. We'll keep doing it for many more. So yeah, we're excited. All of you guys are getting on Wavelink. You know who else is excited about Wavelink, Phil?
Who?
Night Owl.
Oh,
So
yeah?
let's watch a quick video from Night Owl talking about Wavelink 3.0 specifically. And when we get back, we are going to open that giveaway, answer a few more questions, and then draw the winner. So what that giveaway is going to be is for 3 codes for 3 different winners for Voice Focus, for the standalone VST version of Voice Focus. So if you'd like to enter, stay tuned. And that's only going to be on Twitch. And you do need to be following us on Twitch to enter. So great time while that video is playing. Enjoy the video from Night Owl, but also make sure you're followed and eligible to win. So yeah, let's go check it out. See this video from Night Owl.
Happy time zones, everyone, and I don't know about you, but I am super excited to finally be able to talk a little bit more about Wave Next, because Elgato have really been cooking up some stuff behind the scenes to continue to bring you the best products in the content creation and live streaming space, while at the same time simplifying everything so you don't get overwhelmed when trying to set it all up. Audio is arguably the most important part of any type of content, because if you don't sound good, people probably won't stick around to watch. Not to mention that lurkers are kind of the backbone of any live stream, because so many people will have you on a second screen or just have the audio on listening to what you're doing in the background, and if that doesn't sound good or you sound like you're in a construction site or something, people probably will just turn you off. And that's pretty much what all these new Wave products aim to fix. You've got the hardware like the microphone and the new interfaces, all of which have automatic setup features to make sure you're the correct volume, and also you've got filters like VSTs and plugins and stuff like that to make you sound high quality without needing a degree in audio production. And then you compare that with the software side of things, which you definitely should be doing in using Elgato's Wavelink 3.0, because not only will your microphone then sound high quality, but you're also able to control everything. Right now, this is my current setup for Elgato's Wavelink, which I'm really happy with, and I'll probably have to make a few tweaks after it officially launches today. But I've got 5 different mixes. One of which is for my headphones, which I've named Night Owl Mix, and every single channel and source goes to this. So I've got my microphone, system, games, music, Discord, streaming software, alerts, I've got my edit software, and I've also got a guest mic because my partner likes to join me on stream every so often. So I have a place to drop a microphone for her so that I don't have to use one microphone for both of us. And then I've got a microphone only mix, which I normally use for recording my videos or doing Discord calls or maybe in a Zoom meeting or something like that. I've got stream mix, which is usually what I send to you guys when you're watching a stream, which is everything except system sounds and Discord sounds, because you really don't want to hear the notifications. Sometimes I'll turn the Discord on if I'm with someone else, but that's very rare, so I leave that off. Then I've got the VOD mix, which is basically identical to the stream mix, except I've removed the music from the mix, and that way I can split the two up and then have stream mix go to the live broadcast, so that's what you will listen to if you're watching me live. And then you've got the VOD mix, which gets sent to the VOD track of Twitch, and then that hopefully removes the music from it, which allows me to, one, edit clips a little bit easier, and also potentially avoid any DMCA issues that you might have. And finally, I've got a guest mix, which not everyone is going to need this, but as I mentioned earlier on, I sometimes have my partner join me on stream, so when they wear a set of headphones or whatever, I have a mix here which gets sent to them. I imagine you're going to see a lot of different Wavelink setups today, or maybe people's favorite microphone filters, which I've made a ton of videos about already. So instead, I'm going to show you my favorite trick for balancing background music with my voice. Most people will balance music on their stream by basically having music on its own channel and then lowering the level of that channel until it sounds good, which technically does work, except for certain songs and certain sounds, it'll still clash with your voice a bit. So what I like to do, now that Elgato allows you to have separate channels for everything and also add effects to those channels, I have my music one by itself, and then I add in an Elgato EQ to this track. So when I open that, I then add in a band at around 1000 hertz, and then a second one at around 4000. I basically just drop these down as low as they possibly go. And if I play music now, as you can hear, it's not really clashing with my voice, but you can still hear it in the background. We've got bass, we've got treble, and it just creates a bit of a mood. But if I actually turn off this EQ, now you can hear that it is going to clash a little bit more and not sound as good. And if you want to get really fancy, you can control that effect with a Stream Deck button so that you can have it on when you're in a just chatting section like this. But if you want to actually listen to the music, you can just press the button and turn it off.
Thank you so much, Night Owl, for that awesome video. Hopefully it helped you guys learn more about Wavelink 3.0. What did you think, Phil? Yeah, that was a great video, awesome video, but not nearly as awesome as you, Brito. Oh, thanks, Phil. Really, you shouldn't have. No, really, Brito, you're awesome. You're like the coolest coworker I have. You're definitely my favorite one, and I think you should get a raise. Oh, okay. Sorry. I told Chris I wasn't going to get loud, and then I yelled. Sorry,
I'm gone for like 2 seconds, and it's all this like self-award meddling over here. You
Just
know,
awarding myself the medal.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil. You said such nice things. Appreciate it.
They're probably all true. That was a great video by Night Owl, so thank you for that.
Exclamation point raise.
Oh no.
If we get enough exclamation point raise in the chat.
Listen, the reality is, for that, you guys got to buy a couple more Wave mics. Go do that.
Yeah, just add it to your cart. You can also build a bundle.
Oh, that's true. Should we haven't talked about the bundle builder since like day one, right?
Let's first get this giveaway started, and then let's go through all of that.
Sure,
okay?
Yeah.
Surprise, we're about to start the giveaway. It's not exclamation point raise, but I don't know, Jasmine, could it be? No, she picked a much better keyword that she messaged me. It's not going to be exclamation point raise, but I appreciate. Look, they all think they're all vouching.
Honestly, guys, why would you do this?
Don't you remember when I lent you guys my what's the card they always say?
Don't follow, lead. If someone else types raise, don't type raise.
Worth a try. Oh, she's changing it actually. That's why it's not live yet. She's changing it. So if you're typing it, it's not ready yet. But I do appreciate it.
So we
She had a really good one.
Toyota Corolla.
Yeah,
What?
remember when I lent you guys
What?
the Toyota Corolla? Make sure to vouch for me in the Twitter replies.
So,
Okay.
but we are getting a new keyword.
It is live now. It is exclamation point
What?
raise. But starting now. In the Jasmine updated it. She did it. Yeah. The
That's
original
awesome.
one
All
was
right.
Lewitt Spotlight. But I'm sure they understand this one's funner. So yeah, exclamation point raise in the chat to enter the giveaway. If you typed it before, I just said it, it wasn't entered, or like the time I said, like, guys, I'm tired, okay? I'm tired.
It's Monday.
It's Monday, and it's daylight savings times for us, so
Oh,
our
that's
time's
true.
all over the place right now.
It's actually like 6 in the morning right now.
Yeah,
No.
that's how it works, right? The transitive properties of time.
Yeah.
They took away 1 hour, so really they took away 7.
But speaking of taking away stuff,
You know
we
what you can take away
lower-
from this stream?
is that you can actually save when you buy Elgato Wave devices. Check this out. Let's take a look at the Elgato bundle configurator. This one's really cool. I think this is the first time we're ever doing something like this. Is it? I think it's bundle and save. Here we go. So when you're on the Elgato page, what you can do is, let's say you're building out your setup and you're looking for, okay, I want to upgrade a mic, maybe an interface, maybe I need an arm. Our team did something really nice where the more you put together in your bundle, the more you save. So for example, here's how this works, right? Okay, let's say you're gonna upgrade to a Wave 3 Mark II. You have one item here, and at the bottom you see a little status tracker. Let's say you need a mic arm with that as well. You want to upgrade to a Wave Mic Arm LP. You add that, boom, 5% off because you got the mic and the mic arm. 3 items, you get 10% off. So maybe you add a Stream Deck Plus to that. Boom, now you get 10% off. And maybe you want to add a shock mount. 15% off right there for all of these items. So if you add 10 products in the math ain't mathing on that one. But yeah, essentially you can build out your own bundles here depending on what you're looking to get, right? And you can even choose here, like you already have an XLR mic. So you can go in here and then maybe do get a mic arm, something like that. It all depends on kind of what's in stock and what's available here. But yeah, this is the configurator. So you can go on elgato.com. You can find this on the bundle configurator page. Just at the top here, you go under audio, go to bundle and save, and you can add stuff to cart there. Again, of course, this all depends on while supplies last and if stuff is available. And yeah, if you add 10 things to cart, you're not getting 100% off.
Yeah, that's not how the math works.
The math is math. But yeah, so check it out at elgato.com. This is really cool. You of course even have like color options or custom options. So that's the bundle configurator.
Yep. All right. So reminder, the giveaway is running right now. It's on Twitch only. So if you're on a different platform, if you're on Gmail, if you're on, I can't think of any. For some reason, Gmail's the only platform I can. If you're anywhere else, sure, you could type the keyword !raise. You can text it to your mom. You can send it anywhere, but it will only count if you type it in our Twitch chat. So make sure that you type !raise in our Twitch chat to enter the giveaway. We're giving away 3 voice focus codes. Not my best showing today. So I had all those compliments
well,
earlier.
Speaking of
Not my
showing,
best
I hope it's
today.
better than what happened on Friday where we also gave away 3 codes and I think like 4 people missed out because they weren't paying attention.
So lock in, chat. Pay attention. When we draw the winner on the Twitch chat, you will need to be following us. So please follow right now so that when we draw the winner, you're good to go. Follow us right now on Twitch to be able to enter the giveaway. And then when we draw the winner, you will need to be in chat to claim your prize. So
basically, you have to say like, hi, hello. You have to say something so we know that you're there.
Awesome. Amazing. So yes, make sure that you're in chat when we draw the winner, which will be very soon. So yeah.
What was the keyword again?
Keyword is !raise on Twitch. And follow us on Twitch. We're so close to 50,000 followers. We're so close. Let's see where it's at. We're at 49.9K followers on Twitch.
What do we have a more like how many do we need? Do we need 30 people? Do we need
I can find that out for you. But yes, you have to be following before the winner is drawn.
Yeah.
So follow now.
You both did great. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that, Big Casino. We love doing this. We love being here for you guys and answering questions and making sure that you have a setup that you want to see, or you want some information, that we get that out to you. That is our goal here. Is to position our microphones correctly, to get you the information you need.
Yep, we're at 49,894, I believe, because I just saw
So
another
about
one come in.
110 follows.
106.
And how many people are watching?
338. But
I
they're
think we
already
should.
following. We know.
Oh,
We
that's
know they
true.
already
Everyone here is
follow.
already
We know.
following. Yeah, that's true.
So make sure to follow us. It'll be so awesome if we hit 50K during Wave Next. It'll
Mhm.
be like memorable.
Okay, but enough yapping. Should we just do the giveaway?
I think it's time. Yeah, I think we can draw the first winner in like 10 seconds.
You want to start us off?
10,
9,
8,
7,
6.
5. I don't know what she's doing. 4, 3, 2, 1. And the first winner of Voice Focus is Chibi says, "Tell us a joke." I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on.
I
Let's get the first winner. Jasmine wants
The
to hear a joke,
first
though. Maybe you have to unlock it. Maybe they can't win until you tell everyone a joke.
I don't have any good jokes. Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. In which U.S. state can you get the smallest can of soda? In Minnesota. Now give us the giveaway winner quick before they all leave. From my joke.
Oh, congratulations,
Queen.
B.
Queen B, are you in chat? Type a message to redeem your
There we
prize.
hell
Hey!
yeah. Let's go. Okay, congratulations. All right, our first winner of a Voice Focus code. Let's draw the second one.
Do we have to say another joke?
I don't know of any. Like off the top of my head.
Okay. It's okay. We have Google. What's Forrest Gump's password?
Oh my god.
1 Forrest 1.
That's awful.
All right, let's get the next winner.
All right, and the winner of the next one is Red Rum Doll.
77. Are you in chat?
Congratulations, Red Rum Doll.
Say something in chat to claim your prize, and then we have one more after this if they claim it.
There we go.
Hey,
sweet. Let's
congrats.
go. Congratulations.
Yeah, so remember, this Voice Focus key that you're getting is the standalone VST version, so you're going to get the key to unlock that, and you can download it from Elgato Marketplace. But if any of you guys, have Elgato hardware, like the mics, XLR dock, Wave XLR, you actually get Voice Focus for that device for free. So if you're looking at any of the Wave Next devices that we just launched last week, and you're interested in having that voice focus on those mics, you actually do get that. So I just want to remind everyone, because I know there's a lot of questions earlier. All right. Last question. So, oh, no, she just did it. Wow.
Oh, congratulations.
We didn't even have to do it.
Lazy Rico, you won the final Voice Focus code.
Jasmine was like, I'm done.
Is Lazy Rico in chat? Don't be lazy this time. You do want to type in a message to let us know that you're here. And that you can claim
I don't
your.
think I can handle.
Oh, there we go.
Joke.
Pog. All right.
I see them.
Lazy
Yay.
Rico's got it. Wow, that's such a difference compared to Friday. Listen, I get it. Friday, everyone's, it's been a long week, but Friday we had to re-roll like 5 times. Today, everyone was on point. Really proud of all of you for doing that, for being here. You will all, get a message?
Yep, you will get a message on Twitch if you won from Elgato. So keep an eye out for that. But Phil, something just came to my mind, just totally came to my mind. Did you know that it was really hard for the first person who ever invented a microphone?
Is that a statement? Is that a question?
Yeah, he got some really bad feedback.
And with that, I think we're going to call it here.
That's from Reddit. I didn't come up with that.
That's a pretty good one,
I have to fess up. I didn't come up with that, believe it or not.
For tomorrow, we'll need some good ones. Can you prepare?
No, I don't think so. We gotta come up with one joke for Lewitt. We gotta make like a pun or something. Chat, you're on that. Let us know in the Discord what the joke is.
Yeah, dude. That's the reaction there. Just dude.
Dude.
All right. Yeah, let's before we wrap it up here, we are going to be live. Well, not only well, today, but tomorrow and up until Thursday, Burrito,
Yeah.
what are we going to be talking about? What are we doing?
So this wraps up our Wavelink 3.0 intro and overview. Tomorrow we will be chatting with the awesome folks at Lewitt. We'll have 2 special guests from Lewitt and possibly another guest from Elgato, working on finalizing that part now because that just got added today, which would be so awesome for you guys to see tomorrow. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be talking with Lewitt, who are our partners in creating Wave that you know and love. So talking all about that, the story behind it. And then Wednesday we'll be chatting with Voice Mod. Looking forward to that because that means some potentially new and really cool things for you guys to look forward to on Wednesday. Hint, hint, wink, wink. And then Thursday, we'll be talking all about Stream Deck Plus XL and basically controlling your audio. So this applies to anybody that has a Stream Deck if you're using Wavelink 3.0. So definitely make sure to tune in. That will also be the conclusion of our English streams. But fret not, because the rest of the week we also have region streams. So if you speak French, join us tomorrow for our Wave Next overview, intro and overview from our French team. Then on Thursday, we'll have streams in German, Portuguese, and on Friday, we'll have a stream in Japanese. So make sure to tune into all of those streams and see our amazing region teams who are hosting those. Yeah, so we got a long week of streams still ahead of us. Lots more to talk about. I think tomorrow's going to be so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really excited for you guys to hear from the awesome folks at Lewitt. You got questions about just how things were made, what changed throughout the years, like bring those awesome questions tomorrow and make
How
sure
the
to give
mics
them.
are tested, all this
Yeah.
cool stuff. Like if you've ever wondered, like, what is an anechoic chamber and blah, 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 that's your time tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll have
yeah.
a really cool opportunity to learn all about that. But yeah, for now, we are raiding Melon's Lord, so make sure to drop lots of hearts over there and tell them Elgato raid and that we sent you over. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow for the French stream bright and early, or we'll see you at 10 a.m. PDT to talk with the folks at Lewitt. Yeah, join our Discord.
Have a good one, everyone. Bye.
Yay. Bye, everyone.